Hey, welcome to the Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that is perfectly balanced as all things should be. Live here on Twitch, wherever you're listening, however you're listening. Thanks for making us part of your podcast experience. I'm your host today, Max Moser, here with all 5 other Infinity Bros, all 6 of us assembled for one gargantuan podcast. First time user of the Stream Deck. And my co-host today, Isaac Edlund. Isaac, how are you?
I'm exhausted, but it's the StanLee, so I don't have a choice. I have to continue on and just make it through this podcast. So here we are.
Context, Isaac's wife just had their 3rd child. Congratulations to Isaac. I got to take Isaac and his kids on a play date with my son yesterday at the bougiest indoor park I've ever seen.
Can confirm, very bougie indoor park. I was very impressed. Yes.
Things are better in Edina. Always better.
Always.
In Edina.
The cake
speaking
of
bougie, speaking of bougie, you look up the word bougie, this person's gonna not be in there. It's Zane Ellis. Zane, how are you doing?
Really thrown off that you used my name and bougie in the same sentence.
Yo, subscribe, like,
okay.
Share channel,
yeah,
okay?
That's all I got.
We just want
Yep, editing this one's gonna be fun. Really looking forward to not editing this one and just letting the awkward pauses be in the episode. It's gonna be great. He's just as embarrassed as I am, but he's got a unique purple backdrop tonight. He's with us all the way from Montana. Someone else is running on the electric hamster wheel to make sure he can be with you today. It's Jared Curtis. Jared, how are you?
I'm doing phenomenal, and I love that our 2 intros so far were like, this sucks, I hate this, why am I here? Let's just get through it. And Zane. So I'm actually excited to be
So
here.
is Zane included as one of those things that sucks? Or
yeah. And
okay,
listen, right. Max, you can call me anytime.
Sure. Okay.
If
all right. Well,
his Montana phone line will allow it.
Yeah.
Only like 3 people in Montana can be talking on the phone at the same time, though. So
sure.
We have a phone. It's in the middle of the state, 12-hour drive. But we have one.
First.
Yeah.
Our next guest, or host, should I say, took him 3 years to get bit by the COVID bug. Took him 3 whole years, but you've listened to many episodes with him and I bantering. You'll get another one tonight. It's Infinity Bro Mark with COVID-19. Mark, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be back. It's been a rough month and last few days, you know. So I'm back going through COVID puberty and hopefully be a man after this.
COVID puberty.
COVID puberty Mark. That's the mark we get for 2023. New year, new Mark.
Amen.
And then finally, sporting the beautiful Infinity Bro hat. Last second mic issues. I tried to give him a little more buffer time and let him be the last one to make sure it worked. I'm hoping his mic's going to work when I introduce him. But nonetheless, best facial hair tonight, I think. It's Infinity Bro Robbie. Robbie, how are you?
I'm so happy to be here.
Yes.
This is the highlight of my year. I just love being with you bros. It's the first time this year I've seen Zane. First time in about 2 years actually that I've seen Zane. So I'm so happy to be here. I love you all. You're all my favorites. And Zane.
It's rigged. The Academy is biased. Listen, I don't know what Robbie did to line his pockets, but I got this going on. I just
don't make me twist this thing.
The fans see it.
Don't
they
make
know
me
who the
twist
real
this
number
bad
one
boy.
is.
Yeah, I don't know anything about facial hair. So I'm just going to be here and let you 5 do your thing. And it's going to be a great show. We're going to have a great one, though. If you've never seen or heard a Stan Lee's episode before, we are going to recap our personal favorite moments of 2022. We'll talk about the best movie, the best TV show, best movies, best TV shows. We'll talk about our top 6 Infinity Gems. That means specifically for individually, what did we think was the best throughout the year? And then we'll cap it off with a new segment that Robbie invented. I just want to make sure that's clear that Robbie invented this. I did not invent this term.
If it totally blows up, it's all Robbie's fault.
If it blows up or DC gets mad, Robbie Sauter made this up. We're calling the final segment the Bob Canes. Whew. Don't know how that feel about that still, but here we are.
And if it's our biggest thing ever, Max, you don't get to take credit for it.
Not at all.
You don't get to come up with a bunch of other better ideas. Nope. It's my idea.
It's your idea.
I created the original thing.
Yep.
Just like Bob Kane.
There you go. That's it. So how this is going to work tonight, just so our audience is aware of how things go. we are going to rotate. So we'll do 6 for each topic. We'll start with number 6, going all the way to number 1. And then at the end of the show, Isaac will tally up the points and then give us our top as a bro academy. I don't know. What do we call this? A bro academy?
The StanLees.
The StanLees.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the overall, but I'm like, what do we call our conglomerate that decides this? It's the awards, the StanLee, but like, what do we call ourselves in this
It's
process?
called the
Just-
Academy Awards, and they hand
The
out
Infinity Bros
Academy
present.
Awards.
The StanLees.
There you go. Okay.
That's
Right.
how
I was
we've-
trying to be
that's how we've
clever. I was hoping
presented it.
somebody would come up with something funny, and that didn't
There's
happen.
no reason to be clever when it's already perfect.
Fair enough. So at the end of the each,
What do we
each
call
segment,
ourselves? He says several
Jarrett?
years into the podcast.
Gosh, dang it, Jarrett!
I
Exactly
had
what
to.
we're talking about.
after each segment,
Mm-hmm.
Isaac will say who is the top candidate and the overall Infinity Bros choice for that category. So we're going to start with top 6 movies. Top 6 movies. Now, before we get into any of that, this might be the first time you're checking us out. I don't know why you do that. I have no idea why this would be your first episode. But if it is, we want to make sure you're familiar with our rating system, and I want Isaac to be able to use his brand new fancy schmancy Stream Deck. So Isaac, go ahead and click that bumper and put it right here.
Here on the Infinity Bros podcast, everything is ranked from a 0 to 6 point scale. 0 meaning horrible, and 6 meaning absolutely excellent.
Infinity
if all
Bros
of the
await
Infinity
with
Bros
bated
rank
breath.
something a 6, it gets
happening,
an
I promise,
Infinity
guys.
stat.
Oh, it is. Oh
Okay.
gosh, I
We're
wasn't
good.
sure.
We're good.
Thank you. That's
Also,
awesome. I'm gonna
side note before we get moving here, there is also a giveaway in the chat. Exclamation enter to be entered into the giveaway. This is for an anime Funko Pop set that we had shown previously, still available. So we're giving it away tonight. So exclamation enter in chat to be entered into the giveaway. We'll give that away maybe halfway through, and then we've got another merch giveaway later today. So take it away, Max.
Before we get started on that, we would love to know who you would like to hear from first. So I'm going to look for the first Infinity Bro that somebody types, and that individual is going to give us the first movie from the category, the number 6 slot in their list. So I'm going to patiently wait for that name. Okay, thank you, Scott. That would have been really awkward if nobody would have typed anything.
There's someone
Jared
named-
is going to start us off
Somebody
with
did
the
type
top
Matt,
6.
so whoever goes by Matt can go ahead.
Yeah, Matt. Do you think Space Hobo was trying to say Max?
It's possible,
Absolutely.
but I'd rather not.
There's no way anyone wants to hear Max first.
Not a chance.
Good point.
Yeah, and it's weird that Mark would want to hear Zane first, but here we are. So Jarrett, we're gonna start with you, and then Zane, we'll have you go second. Then Space. Oh, so it was Max. So thank you, Space Hobo. Thank you. So we'll go Jarrett, Zane, me to start. So Jarrett, give us your number 6 movie on the year. Go ahead, Jarrett.
So we had a little discussion about how we should classify these. And I had a panic attack because I don't know that I've watched 6 movies this year because my life is crazy and a little sad right now. I went with Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas Special. I actually really, really enjoyed this one.
That's great, Jarrett. That's awesome. Zane, you're number 6.
Silence.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I
Max,
don't
you
know
created you created the awkward pause.
Yeah. Okay.
Really
Sorry.
happy for you, Jarrett. Really happy for you.
Thanks, Caleb. Love you too.
My number 6 is Sonic 2.
That's
gosh,
better.
very-
there's part of
very
me that
fun
needs to
movie.
change.
That's an honorable mention. That's an honorable mention. That's
It's
a good
definitely
one.
an
Fun
honorable
movie.
mention. I thought about putting that on my list. Good one,
Number
Zane.
6 for me is going to also be another Marvel special. I'm going to go Werewolf by Night. Really enjoyed this movie. This one surprised me. I'm not a big horror guy, and I really, really enjoyed this one. So, Mark, as your mid-sip, let's go to you. Tell us what your number 6 movie on the year was.
Okay? We just wanna love you.
Hey, Mark,
Your mic's off.
There, Marky Mark.
Mark, thank you for being muted, though. I really appreciate that you're honoring the mute
Here
agreement
welcome.
that we wanted.
Now
You're-
I won't mute from now on. You'll hear me cough and sneeze. So there it is.
Boo.
Wonderful.
Thor:
Hope
Love and
people want-
Thunder is my number 6.
Fantastic.
Good one.
Robbie,
I'm surprised
we're
that's
gonna
not
go to
higher on
you.
your list. You gave it a 6.9 out of 6. So
He did. Yeah, so that
I
means
did.
everything from here on out is going to be at least a 6.91 or higher.
Gross.
There you go. Merry Christmas.
Hell yeah, brother.
Happy New Year. Robbie, go ahead and tell us your number 6 movie on the year.
My number 6 is the Adam Sandler movie Hustle, which is a basketball movie if you guys haven't watched. Very underrated.
That is underrated. I would agree on that.
It's on my
And then
list.
Isaac, let's
It's on my list.
oh,
I need to watch
let's
that.
transition over
good
to Isaac.
job for you.
Perfect. My number 6 was Glass Onion. I binge watched like a butt ton of 2022 movies in the past like 3 weeks, and Glass Onion was among the best of them. I really, really liked it. It was really fun. So Glass Onion is my number 6.
We're gonna go back to the top. Jarrett, your number 5 movie on the year.
Number 5 for me was also Glass Onion. I was really surprised by this one because the first like little bit of the movie, I was not feeling the vibe at all. And then as it got into it and the twist started to pull out, and then, gosh, Daniel Craig just continues to show that he's
so
the
good.
absolute best. Just the GOAT. Yeah, phenomenal movie. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. I know a lot of people are worried because they maybe haven't seen Knives Out. You should watch both, but the order does not matter.
You can also see last week's episode of the Infinity Bros podcast where we talk about this. Robbie, Isaac, and I all talk about it. So, Zane, let's go to you. Your number 5 movie on the year.
All right, my number 5. Something kind of caught me by surprise on this one because I didn't really jump out at me, and then I watched it and I was very surprised by how much I enjoyed this movie. But number 5 for me is Bullet Train.
Ooh, yeah. Oh,
That was an enjoyable movie. That's
I
a
wanted
Zane
to put that on
movie
my
for sure.
list. It definitely
Very
got pushed out.
fun
but
movie.
That was
That's
really
100% a Zane movie.
Yeah.
If I was to craft Zane's list, like thinking this is what Zane would make, these for sure would be the 2, 6, and 5 spots on my list of what I thought Zane. So I'm interested to see what else is going on.
Oh my gosh. Okay, time out. Leathernator just
ahead.
gifted 10 subs to our community. Thank you so much, Leathernator.
Oh my goodness.
You rock, dude. He's
Shout
the
out to
best.
Leathernator.
Leathernator is the GOAT.
Goat.
I was
for
just
sure.
on a phone call with him 2 days ago. He was asking us how
The goat.
he asked, how do you guys do such a great job on your podcast? Let me learn from you. And you know what I said?
Dumb luck.
Don't listen to Mark. That's what I said. I said don't listen to Mark.
Yeah.
Don't listen
Smart.
to Mark,
Very
ever.
smart.
Don't ever listen to
Look at me, I get COVID, and all of a sudden I'm gonna die. You know.
Mark's
The
last
number
episode.
the number 5 movie for me is Chip and Dale Rescue Adventure. This one also surprised me. Watched this earlier in the year. I really enjoyed the cameos in this one. Not only did I enjoy the cameos, I really think this story was strong, and I still at the end of the year have watched it a couple times, and I'm still impressed with this movie. So, Chip and Dale Rescue Adventure, I really appreciated this one as well. So let's head over now to Mark. Mark, you're number 5.
My number 5 was The Black Phone.
Ooh, you can check that out right now. I believe on is it
It's
Amazon
on
Prime or
Amazon.
Paramount?
Yeah,
Is it
Amazon.
on
I've been.
I thought it was on
I think it's
Peacock.
Amazon. I've been
I
looking at it. I haven't watched
on
it
the
yet.
physical copy, so that's how
Is
I-
that the
Ooh.
Ethan Hawke one?
Yeah, it has Ethan Hawke.
That looks phenomenal.
great.
You look phenomenal.
Robbie, let's go to you.
Or Jared.
Stop it.
My number 5, it's already been mentioned, but Werewolf by Night. I think this took a lot of people by surprise, and just the classical approach that they did really drew a lot of people. I really enjoyed Werewolf by Night.
Pretty crazy too, Robbie, that Giacchino, that was his like first basically big time movie.
Yeah.
Pretty
That is
impressive.
wild. That is wild.
It's
And
amazing
he's-
that Disney would give him the option to just be like, "Hey, go make us."
And now
a
he's
movie.
like already in the works to produce another like horror movie. So like that
For him.
that got him the ins now. So
Isaac, close us out. Number 5.
all right, my number 5 is The Batman. Fantastic movie, awesome. I don't know, like there's not really much else to say about it. Like it was a fantastic adaptation. Yeah, 5. Just
Unbelievable.
I know that might be a little wild to some people, but
just my feelings that are hurt.
and just as like a precursor to, I have no Marvel properties on my TV or movie list. Like I was shocked myself when I like came up with these. I was like, wow,
Vote to
okay, very interesting.
Vote to kick.
So you're
Nice.
saying so Batman?
Isaac leaving the Infinity Bros. I think we're hard tonight.
So you're
I
saying
know.
the Batman is
Wow.
your highest rated comic book
Yeah, it is. It is.
property of 2022? Wow.
Sure is.
There you go.
It's
So
not Black Adam.
Batman is fantastic. I don't know what else to say about it. It's fantastic. So, anyways,
I think the Batman's going to pop back up on a couple other lists. So we're going to
Probably-
move forward.
probably
I'm
on
sure there will be other rhetoric on this. So let's go back to Jarrett. Jarrett, your number 4 movie on the year. Go ahead.
I have a feeling that this is gonna get me. This might be my new Thor: The Dark World take. I freaking loved Lightyear. I thought it was such a cool take on like a known series, and I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. Whoever the actor is that plays Socks, just like really sells that voice acting role. I watched this way too many times with my boys. Lightyear, go check it out. Disney Plus.
Peter
Solid.
Sohn
Solid
is the
film.
voice of Socks. Peter
Solid
Sohn,
film.
Sohn. Zane, go ahead and tell us your number 4 movie on the year.
Well, first off, Jarrett, you need to watch more than 6 movies. 'Cause come on, man. No, at number 4 for me, as it's already been brought up a couple times, is actually Werewolf by Night. Like, just fantastically done, super fun movie, and the fact that it came out around Halloween it just added to that little whipped cream on top there.
For me, number 4 is the Batman. I echo what what Zane said. Words are hard.
Wow.
What Isaac said
Robbie,
earlier.
Zane.
Well, maybe I'm intentionally doing it because I
I'll
picked
be
you up
Mark
from the
next.
airport
Green
and I wanted
jacket,
to
blue
bother you.
jacket, who gives?
No, I think the Batman was great. It's a 6 out of it was a 5.8 I think out of 6 when we reviewed it, Robbie. I've bumped it since to a 6 just because I've watched it twice since, and I really enjoy this movie. The rest of my list is 6 out of 6. So this is not an indication of anything poor about the Batman. This is just, I think
Right.
the Batman on these movies were all 6 out of 6s, and I really liked this movie. I really, really enjoyed it. So, Mark, let's go to you.
My number 4 was The Menu.
Oh,
good
that's
things
fairly
about
new,
it.
isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's on. I saw this one on one of the streaming channels. I don't know if it's on. Is it Peacock or
I think it's
HBO
HBO
Max?
Max. Just dropped on HBO Max not that long ago. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's my number 4. It was great. It was a great psychological thriller.
Nice.
That was my question. Is it a
Good stuff.
thriller or horror? Because I wanted to see it. but I was
100%
like,
thriller. I wouldn't say horror.
that makes me want to see
It might have horror elements, but thriller.
I can work with that.
Yeah.
I can work with that. Robbie, number 4.
My number 4 is All Quiet on the Western Front. This is a World War One movie. It is up there with 1917 as one of the best war films I have ever watched. It is pretty incredible. Really shows what they went through back then, and it is absolutely gruesome. If you like war films, check it out. It's on Netflix.
That's really high praise.
High praise.
High
praise.
1970s is phenomenal.
All right, Isaac, you're up. Go ahead and tell us your number 4.
All right, my number 4 is Chippendale Rescue Rangers. I just freaking love this movie, and I think it just shocked everybody. I think this movie came out and was like, hey, this is what we wanted to do with it. Yes, Robbie, I put it above the Batman because
Above the Batman?
I put it above the Batman. Yeah,
Love-
absolutely.
I love that Isaac's the one that was like, "Why are we getting this movie?"
I know,
Why-
right?
why would we
I
get this
totally,
movie?
in the
it
world?
totally changed my perspective on like
Jiminy
this movie.
Christmas.
So awesome. Like I just absolutely loved it, and it blew me out of the water. So it's my number 4, and it beat the
I'm not
Batman
saying
out.
it's a bad film. I'm not saying it's a bad film. But Isaac, come on.
Just lighten up,
can't-
Robbie. Have some fun.
I'm gonna drink some more Screwball and line up.
All right,
Maybe
we're
that'll
going to ease the tension by passing it back over to Jarrett. Jarrett, your number 3 movie on the year.
You guys are gonna love this one. Bad Guys. If you haven't seen it, is a you like this?
All of Jarrett's movies are
Your whole list
children's
is gonna be
movies.
your kids' films.
It is.
Oh my gosh,
This is one I know
that's
I've only
amazing.
seen 6 movies this year.
Oh my
First of
gosh.
all, like the casting is phenomenal. The main character is played by Sam Rockwell,
It is good. It's really good.
who is like,
Yeah, it's okay.
honestly, dude does not get enough credit. He's a phenomenal actor. I did not expect to enjoy this movie at all. My son turned it on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because my kids read the book at school, and I'm like, this is gonna be a dumb Netflix adaptation of like just a dumb kids book. I really enjoyed it, and like kids movies you're required to watch 150 times because you're not allowed to say no when they say, "Dad, turn it back on." I enjoyed it. Like throughout the whole thing, I don't hate this movie.
I didn't even know it was based on a kid's book. I had no clue. It's a fun movie.
Just so we haven't reviewed this movie in the slightest. So just a quick casting so everybody can get context here. Sam Rockwell, Mark Marone, Aquafina, Craig Robinson, Anthony Ramos, Richard. How do I say that last name again, Jarrett?
Ayoade, I think.
Ayoade, thank you. And Zazie Beetz is in this.
Yeah, dude.
That is not a bad cast. You're absolutely right. All right.
It's a phenomenal movie, and
it's a fun movie for sure.
A sleeper for sure.
Yeah, does Scott like it? Oh, Scott says it's fun. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna check that out.
Jarrett's list is just the best kid films of the year.
That's it. That's
the G-rated list comes from Jarrett. Zane, go ahead and tell us your number 3 movie on the year.
All right, coming at number 3 for me is Nope.
Just watched that the other night. It's fantastic.
Zane, we're not supposed to do honorable mentions, but Nope just missed it for me. It was so close.
So
it was my 7th.
I just liked it so much. Great movie.
We had such a blast seeing that movie too.
List.
That was a lot of fun.
Such a good time. Such a good time.
I was so proud of you.
The gif of them slapping hands. That's just been like our thing this year. I love that movie. That's a great movie. Great movie. Good choice. For me, number 3 is going to be the movie Prey. I really loved this movie. I have a good feeling it'll be brought back up later. Amber Midthunder is just tremendous in this and deserves very high praise. I hope to see her in other things down the line. This movie answered the question that I had: how on earth can one of these predators not be beaten? How can you defeat this thing in this time period? And it answered the question very well, and also told an incredible story. While also, Jarrett, when you reviewed this, you spoke a lot about the context historically, but also culturally, how relevant it was and how important it was to the directors and cast to make sure that was accurate. So I really appreciated Prey. This was a home run for Hulu. Great job for them. So, Mark, let's go to you, number 3.
Hey, Max, who would have thought? Look at us. My number 3 is also Prey.
Let's go!
Yeah.
Anything to add? I talked a lot, sorry.
It was great. It was like a hidden gem. Who would have thought that, before Predator movie set in the past was gonna blow our socks off, and there it is, blew our socks off.
The socks were blown off.
Yeah.
Robbie, number 3.
Hey, look at us. Look at us.
Wow.
Number 3, Prey.
That's
Let's
impressive.
go.
Let's go. You guys suck. Number 3, Prey all the way.
Prey was one of the best fighting scenes of the year.
Yes.
They did almost all without CGI.
Crazy.
They did an amazing job with this film. And the fact that this went straight to Hulu instead of going to the film to the theater is insane. Mm-hmm. Hulu absolutely hit it out of the park. Fantastic movie. Definitely worthy of a top 3 pick.
Isaac.
Am I the last one? Excuse me.
Yep.
All right. So my number 3 is Top Gun Maverick. I do want to speak to Prey, though, because there were a lot of movies that just didn't make the cut on my list, but I wanted them to be on my list really bad. Prey was one of those movies. I'm not a horror guy, but horror thriller, it's not really my jam, but Prey was so stinking good. I absolutely love that movie. But anyways, Top Gun Maverick.
It's an action movie, whatever.
Thriller, whatever. Anyways.
You cannot come after me about bad guys with a take like that.
Take like what? That it's a thriller? Is it not a thriller? That
is Die Hard a thriller?
Do you know what a thriller is, Isaac?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of horror adjacent, but it's not a horror movie. That's what I consider
a horror movie.
No. I'm talking about Prey. I'm talking about Prey. I said going back to Prey. There was a lot of movies
Prey
that
a sci-fi action.
It's a sci-fi action film.
Like a Silence of the Lambs.
So you guys,
thriller.
So
I get what
thriller.
you're saying.
So thriller does not count. Prey does not count as a thriller in any of your guys' minds. That's what
thriller,
I categorize.
Usually, there's a mystery to be solved.
Yeah.
There was no mystery.
Okay.
It was
Anyways,
Predator
since Robbie thought
Who's
I was
on
talking
there?
about Top Gun
and
Maverick,
humans
and
fighting.
I'll go.
I'm just shocked the Top Gun is at 3, and yeah, just
Anyways,
I'm
Top
just
Gun
a
Maverick.
little embarrassed for you right now. That's where I'm at.
You're embarrassed because Top Gun Maverick is at 3?
Okay, time
It's at
out.
3, yeah.
Time out.
Oh,
Pause,
okay.
pause,
Batman
pause.
is a I'm
Pause,
embarrassed.
pause. Here's what we're gonna do. In the chat, go ahead and tell us what you think if you saw Prey, what it is. We'll take a little mini poll. Zane will get all the answers. He'll compute them together, plug them into Jarrett, and we'll get a response soon. Okay, Zane will take care of that for us. He's always good with the
Hacking.
details.
Zane,
Big
Wiggle.
details guy.
All right.
So Top Gun Maverick. Go ahead.
Can I
Isaac.
continue? Can I continue with my list?
Please do.
Top Gun Maverick. Like, I don't think there's anything negative that I can say about this movie. Like, it was fantastic. Tom Cruise, the guy is amazing. Like, I get that he's probably a real life douche, along with all of his Scientology crap that he brings with. But like, the fact that he is flying F-18s for this movie is incredible, and everything about this movie was fantastic. The only it's not even a negative, but it played really, really hard on nostalgia. So I think that's why it probably, like, if they made it a better separate movie than Top Gun, like if you could watch this movie without watching Top Gun, it would have been a better movie. But still, absolutely fantastic. Nothing really bad I can say about that movie. So that's my number 3.
You can feel the heat getting a little hotter right now as the lists start to unveil themselves. Number 2, we're going to go to Jarrett. What kids movie will Jarrett unveil this time? Go ahead, Jarrett.
Rated E for everyone. It's The Batman.
You did see this one. Okay. All right.
I did
Love
see this
it.
one. I thought that this movie was gonna be stupid, and the more I saw like the DC fanboys going nuts for it, the more I was like, this is not for me. This movie rocks, man. I'm
Yeah.
so sad with like the fact that we probably will not get a. Do we know for sure will we get a continuation of this universe?
the Batman is continuing.
It's
they have
safe.
said
Okay.
they have said that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Good. I love that. I think we should keep it. Honestly, like, phenomenal movie. I watched it twice just to make sure I wasn't missing anything, because I think there's a lot to be said about like the way the Riddler orchestrates everything. Phenomenal casting. I love the take. Go watch it if you haven't.
Zane.
All right, my number 2 is Top Gun Maverick. For all reasons previously stated.
There you go. Zane, look at us. Look at us. Top Gun
Who's
for
up?
me as well for number 2.
Hey.
In my opinion, it's the best the best cinematography film on the list. I think this is what they did in this movie was tremendous. That's what I would add on to what you guys would say. So, Mark, go ahead, number 2.
Okay, Max. Val Kilmer, Tom Cruise, Miles Teller, go.
Top Gun? Are you talking about Top Gun?
MFK? Which? Those 3?
No, I'm not doing that. I don't.
Oh
play that
no!
game.
Oh no!
No, I can't. I can't.
It's Miles Teller, Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer. That's the right answer. I don't know why
That's
it
the
was
order.
so hard for
That's
you.
the order. Yeah,
So,
it's easy.
anyways, my number 2 is Glass Onion. Great show.
Ooh, nice. So good.
I love that had nothing to do with the movie you were picking. That's even better. Even
That's how I
better.
roll, bro.
I love, yeah.
Glass
I'm a little
Onion,
shocked.
they should just keep pushing those out. You just give
Yeah.
Daniel Craig
Yeah.
and a host of other actors and
Yep.
actresses.
Mhm.
Another murder mystery. I don't care how wacky it gets. Do one in space. Do one in the past. You do one where it's all Daniel Craig's. Do it of his characters he's played in the past. Like, that'd be nuts. Let's do it. Let's roll.
Dude,
Roll
you're
Tide.
getting way out in the weeds, and I love it. I'm all in.
I'm 3 cups of water in. Let's roll.
Let's ride. Let's ride. Robbie, go ahead. Number 2.
I really thought that we were gonna get 4 in a row when Mark said those names, so I'm a little bummed. But Top Gun Maverick is my number 2 movie of the year. For all things mentioned, it's the penultimum action movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so good, and it hits on some nostalgia. It's an incredible movie. Definitely a must watch.
Isaac.
My number 2, and I'm not surprised that this is not on anybody's list, but my number 2 is Massive Weight of Unbearable Talent. Nick Cage is just this is prime Nick Cage. The fact that he
Prime
can
Isaac
just sit
Pick.
and make fun of himself for a whole hour and 45 minutes is fantastic. Like, this movie is great, and this is this is not a cinematic masterpiece. This is because I purely enjoyed it. This is probably the movie on my list and then I'm gonna rewatch the most. Honestly, like, I might buy this.
It's a great cast too, Isaac. Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal is fantastic. Like, it's
Tiffany Haddish, Neil Patrick Harris.
Wait, you're telling me the movie isn't just Nicolas Cage playing every single character?
That would have been great.
Should have.
No, it is not.
Actually, Keanu Reeves played Nick Cage. That's
Keanu Reeves plays Nick
Wait,
Cage. Oh my
Keanu
gosh.
Reeves plays Nick Cage, but Nick Cage plays everyone else.
Yes.
Cage plays
Absolutely.
Elijah Wood.
But like,
That's brilliant.
guys, this movie is so wild. Nick Cage, there's a scene where Nick Cage literally kisses himself, like, from like when he was 20 years old. Like,
It's great.
it's
Movie's great.
fantastic. It's so funny. That's my number 2. Didn't
really
expect
good reason
anybody
to
else
be
to have
number
it.
All right, really good reason to put it at number 2. Go ahead, Jarrett. Jarrett, we are now going to the number 1 movie of 2022. Isaac, make sure you're tallying these. By the way,
I'm telling him.
Attaboy. All right, Jarrett, go
Let's
ahead.
lean
The
in and
number
hear
1
what
movie of
Jared has to tell
2022.
us.
I can't wait.
This is gonna come to a shock for absolutely nobody. It was Prey. I think not just from like the action sequence standpoint, which, by the way, the fight scene in the camp is my favorite fight scene of all time. I thought it was phenomenal. But what it did culturally, not just for indigenous people, but for the entire world, and the fact that it sort of helped kick along this movement of indigenous actors and indigenous stories being put on the forefront, and not just being like relegated to historical fiction, but have an actual like indigenous led action movie. Just phenomenal. I've watched this probably 3 or 4 times now. Amazing movie.
Jarrett, before we go to Zane too, just I watched New Mutants the other day for the first time, and to see that movie and how they portray indigenous people versus Prey
my
is
God, it
just
was
such a
so
completely different like wheelhouse, right? Like, it's completely different. And we talked about this on our Prey episode, so Isaac, let's make a note just to put a link to that episode in the show notes, because I think there's a lot of great context that Jarrett provides that we're not going to get into today.
For sure.
Zane, go ahead. Prey. I'm sorry. Prey was Jarrett's answer. What is your number 1 movie of 2022?
At number 1, I'm just gonna take the football from Jarrett and keep running with it. My number 1 is also Prey.
Yeah, buddy.
Just for everything, just fantastic movie, and just even from a huge Predator fan that I was, that movie just did everything. It was just like, yes, it's what you wanted from all those movies. Those scenes are fantastic. Like Jarrett said, the camp scene. I think even a little bit before that, like that half hour, that fight in like the burning forest with all the ash coming down was so well done. Yeah, my number 1's Prey. Fantastic movie.
It's a great movie. For me, number 1 is Everything Everywhere All at Once, the A24 film that came out in April. This was directed and written by the Daniels, and Michelle Yeoh deserves an Oscar for this movie. The Daniels deserve an Oscar for editing. This movie, in my opinion, is the reason that I think I hated Doctor Strange so much, because I saw what a good multiverse movie is supposed to be like, and I saw this movie way before that. I also I would enjoy going back to this, I don't even know what you call multiverse, I guess. I would just really enjoy going back to this multiverse. This is the best movie of the year. It's tremendously well done. It has some insane action sequences. It reinvigorated Kiwi Kwan's career. He's coming basically back into everything now mainstream. And Jamie Lee Curtis is awesome too. She even has some awesome fight sequences, which is pretty wild for her. So that's my vote for the number 1 movie of the year, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Mark, go ahead.
It's the Batman. Batman's number 1. No questions.
No
asked.
notes.
You all
no
know
notes. Just
Yeah,
It's the Batman.
anything else you want to add? Go ahead.
It's got Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne and Batman. Pretty neat. They slapped on a ton of makeup on that penguin guy. It's pretty cool. They got Selena Kyle in it. They got a Riddler.
Mark is out here fighting for his life, and Max.
Yeah,
goes,
Mark, are you kidding me?
talking.
Mark,
Yeah,
you don't have to- you don't have
everyone
to
else.
say anything. If
Everyone
that's-
else,
the
Max is like,
Batman.
okay, let's move on. But if it's Mark, it's like, Mark, do you want to expand
Yeah,
on that?
right? Like,
Expand
no,
on
I
that,
just
Mark.
said the Batman.
Mark
can't
was just
talk.
Mark was so
Back,
blunt
like,
with it. I just was
you
like,
can't
hey,
talk,
I know
but
Robbie's
go
gonna,
ahead.
Robbie's gonna say something about it, so it's like it clearly is his number one, right? So like, go ahead and give Mark a little bit to say, then Robbie can take the football like Zane did, and here we go, right? So I'm sorry, I wanted to give Mark.
I
an
got the
opportunity.
ball hiked to me, and now I'm mid throwing it to Robbie in the end zone.
There we go.
So-
All right, Robbie,
All right.
your number one movie of 2022. Go ahead.
My number one is obviously the Batman. And I do want to say this though. I am with Jarrett. When this movie first came out and all the hype that was created around it, I was like, the DC fanboys are like going crazy for this. I'm really worried that this movie is actually going to be bad, and it's going to be they're just like sucked into like DC's going to do good, and that it wasn't actually going to be true. This movie lived up to the hype. In my opinion, it's the second best Batman film of all time. I know some of you we talked at length about, is this better than The Dark Knight?
Sure.
Some people think it is, some people don't. But it's the fact that it's up there with The Dark Knight is huge, and it's a very, very good movie, from start to finish. It's easily my number one of the year.
And everyone's on the edge of their seats for this one. Isaac, what is your number one? Because your list has been very unique. I would say
my list has been the biggest one.
and there's been a
something.
lot. There's
I
also been a
don't
lot of
know.
comments on your list and
It's
Jared's list in the
Morbius.
comments.
Jared's
Morbid time.
It's
Yeah.
Morbid time.
Mark, you nailed it. It's Morbius. No, actually, I'm with Max. I just saw Everything Everywhere All at Once last week. I think 2 weeks ago, maybe. The last 2 weeks have been a blur, so I don't even know. But Everything Everywhere All at Once was fantastic, and I think you were right. It deserves a couple Oscar nominations. Number one for editing, because wow, that movie is bonkers, and the action scenes are fantastic. I think that's a good point that you bring up, Max. That's the reason why the Multiverse of Madness was disappointing to a lot of people, because we saw so many different cool things in different multiverses in this movie, and then we really didn't get to explore the multiverse in Multiverse of Madness. So this did an amazing job of that. Great acting, just overall incredible movie. So that is my number one for 2022.
I think the fighting
how
is the
does-
best in this movie too.
Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness made any better with giant hot dog fingers.
Oh, how is it not made better
Mark,
with
Mark,
giant hot dog?
Mark,
fingers?
we've had talks about this. We've had conversations about this movie.
Just imagine
We've had a
Strange's
lot
hot
of
dog
conversations
fingers
about
like
this movie.
flapping around
gotta
as
move
he's
on.
like doing like.
That scene was great. The hot dog scene was great.
Gosh.
So
good.
Isaac,
Glad
you
to know.
tallied up the
Wait,
scores.
did Zane?
Can you,
Zane, what was your number one? Did we do your
it was
number?
Prey.
I said
It was
it's
Prey.
Prey.
Oh, okay. Did I miss that one? I must have missed that one. No, I
I
don't.
don't want to talk over everyone,
Pray,
but Max
pray.
isn't paying attention to my
Everything all
thumbs
at
up.
once.
All right, guys.
But-
Yeah.
Rob,
do
no,
you-
go ahead. Stop,
Are we ready?
Robbie, I apologize. I didn't see your thumbs up. Go ahead.
I did like 6 thumbs up, try because that's what I was told to do.
Thank you. To do that. Thank you for doing that.
I just want to say I really wish I would have seen everything everywhere all at once. Didn't have a chance to see it, but I can tell you that Multiverse of Madness just wasn't actually good. It doesn't
That's
matter if
also
you
true.
saw the other film or not. But I do really want to see that film. I just wanted to point that out. Multiverse of Madness is just not good.
Thank you.
Better or worse than Black Adam?
Better than Black Adam. I would watch it over
Ooh,
Black Adam.
yeah,
Well,
Gosh.
then it wasn't really bad.
I can't wait for Robbie to
Well,
rant
Black
on
Adam
that
was
later.
trash. I already got
Surprised it
that
didn't
out on
make your top
Sunday. I
six.
think I'm okay.
Surprising.
My hate for Black Adam could make top 6.
Any other comments on movies before we transition and Isaac gives us the overall scores?
Does everybody want to know? Because I've got the winner already. It was pretty easy to tally up here. So, are we ready? The drum roll in the chat. Brrr. The StanLee Award 2022 StanLee for Best Movie goes to Prey. It goes to Prey by over 6 votes.
That's crazy.
That's pretty wild.
That's
like
insane.
2 number
Well
ones.
deserved.
Prey.
Yeah, like a bunch of 2s and 3s, like incredible. Prey is the
Yeah.
2022 for StanLee Best Movie. So there you go, guys.
Top 3 movie for sure. Top 3 for
What
sure.
was second?
Second was The Batman.
Good.
But
That makes sense.
6 votes. Prey made it by 6 votes.
I feel like if all of us
6
watched
points, I should say.
Everything Everywhere All at Once, that would be in the conversation a lot more. But I think Robbie and I missed that one for sure.
With all due respect to Prey, I know
I saw it.
everyone's saying it's like
Right
the
there.
best fight sequence of the year. Everything Everywhere All at Once, I think, has better fighting, and that is not me dogging Prey. That is just
Incredible.
me
action.
lifting up that movie. There was some crazy things happening in that movie that
Like
are
giant
difficult to
leader
even
fingers.
explain. So, all right, we're gonna head over to our best TV shows of 2022. We're gonna reverse the order this time. So we're gonna start with Isaac in the number 6 spot. Isaac, what is your number 6 TV show of the
All
year?
right. Number 6 TV show of the year is Rings of Power. Fantastic show. Honestly, like all of my movies and all of my shows, I think I gave 6 out of 6s. Like they're all fantastic. Rings of Power was incredible. I absolutely loved diving back into Tolkien's world again. There's some funky story turns, which is why it's at number 6. But overall, incredible. Absolutely loved it. Can't wait for more. Rings of Power.
Robbie, go ahead.
My number 6 has got a lot of hype at the end of the year, but my number 6 is Wednesday. Really good story, really good show, a lot of really good acting and just different themes. And it became like a pop culture phenomenon. So that is my number 6 TV show of the year.
Mark.
My number 6 is She-Hulk. Loved it. Great stuff. Hope
Score
there's
1
more.
for the good guys. Score 1 for the good guys.
Would
Mark, would you like to expand on that?
Yeah, you know,
Nailed it!
She-Hulk is a giant like girl version of Hulk, but like
What do you,
she can control herself as Hulk.
Robbie
what do you
immediately
think of
And then
breaks his computer.
Wong's involved.
I don't get it.
Mark? Yeah, what do you think Robbie would think of this though? Like, give me a pitch for Robbie real quick.
Having been to a Comic-Con with Robbie, he would love it.
Oh, really?
Robbie would give it a 3.5 out of 6.
Hell yeah.
The third party, brilliant. I'm next. I'm after Mark. For me, it's Abbott Elementary. I just got on this show this year. Shout out to Elliot for saying it to me, and then I watched it later, and I've binge watched it with my wife. It's tremendous. It's funny. I think it's got an opportunity to be an all-time comedy. It's very unique, and I really enjoy what they're doing with that. So Abbott Elementary. Zane.
All right. My number 6 is no one's really talked about it much, but I got turned on to it, and it was a fantastic show. No one's still talking about it, but number 6 for me is From.
Oh boy.
I need more. I need
boy.
season 2.
Max is talking about it.
Give
But
me-
he's the only person
Yes,
I've ever
that's it.
heard talk
It's-
about
It's
it.
me and Max. It's me and
You
Max
and Max,
talking
you and
about
Max
it.
are talking
I believe
about
Mark's watched it too, right? Mark,
Oh,
you
yeah,
watched
Mark's
it?
Mark-
watched everything.
I've watched it. I
Mark's
watched
consumed
well,
Mark's
everything.
watched everything.
I did until I got like a government job and,
Got like a
and
job.
a child.
And
Now
Ben
So
he's
now,
li-
now I watch nothing.
government
now
job.
he's
like
living.
parents.
He's living the Parks and Rec.
Do you
life.
have a fully loaded Ford Taurus though? That's the real
Not
question.
not yet, but
Okay.
but it is a city vehicle if I need it.
Do you have a waterbed?
A guest water bed.
Did
We
you
have
finance
a saltwater bed.
Did you
waterbed?
finance your waterbed?
Did you find?
No, I paid with cash.
Ooh. Oh my!
Oh,
How many letters do you have? How many high school letterman's letters do you have?
13.
Wow,
that's
this
incredible.
guy, he's
Wow.
impressive.
Zane, I'm a little disappointed at how low From is on your list, but we can debate that a little later. Jared, go ahead. Your number 6 TV show of the year.
You guys are gonna love this. A TV show that literally none of you have probably heard of. It is an anime called Ranking of Kings. It's phenomenal. It is a sleeper. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. It is a little slow. The first 2 episodes are kind of hard to get into, but after that, it is phenomenal.
Zane looks like disappointed in you for some reason.
I guess. Sorry, Zane. I haven't seen Witch for
Faith
Mercury.
number 1.
Nerd.
Okay, then we're back to the top. Isaac, number 5 TV show of the year.
My number 5 is I'm surprised it slid this far because I absolutely love the show. But Andor, wow, Andor was so stinking good. But unfortunately, there's so many. The TV shows I feel like is a loaded category this year. Like,
Isaac, I don't feel like I know you at all.
many stinking
Yeah,
good shows.
I'm very
Like,
shocked. By
did
that.
not
I feel like I don't know you at all.
You've clearly changed, just like all your
Like
pictures.
at
from the
number
past.
5? Really?
Yeah, surprisingly,
I'm
I was
shocked.
shocked because I thought this was going to be like top 3
I'll
sure.
be honest. I am so
Changed.
I'm so interested in what the rest of your list looks like. I am
Alright,
invested
stay
in
tuned.
what your list turns into.
Stay tuned.
I'm shocked.
Andor is fantastic, though. It's the best Star Wars show for sure. It's incredible. Anyways, that is my number 5.
Can I cut you off real quick? This is super wild. I'll cut you off as you finished. Did you guys know that season 2 of Bad Batch is out?
Yeah, just dropped like
Somebody was talking to me about this today, and I'm like,
yeah, just this
no.
week. Yeah,
Yeah, just dropped.
Yeah.
Oh my
I haven't
gosh.
gotten
You
around to
cannot
watching
put
it
that
yet.
on your StanLee
Okay,
list.
I was gonna ask.
It came
is
out
that
in
on your list?
2023. No, it didn't.
Okay.
No, it's not on my
That
list.
cartoon cannot go on your list, Jarrett.
And
hold
spoiler, Tales of the Jedi isn't on my list either. But
Robbie, we're gonna go to you. Number 5, TV show of the year. Here we go.
My number 5 is Severance. I imagine this is going to show up on other people's list, but just an excellent mind-ending show. Like I don't know how to explain the show, to be honest. It's very, very good. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch Severance, and that's on Apple TV.
TV Plus.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Death TV question mark.
TV question mark. So check out Severance.
Mark, number 5.
So good.
My number 5 is Winning Time. Anyone
Ooh,
remembers that show that came out
interesting. That's an interesting choice.
early
Yeah.
in the year about the Lakers. John C. Reilly.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
That
Yeah.
movie for show. I mean, it was
Was
great
it
stuff.
It was entertaining. That was entertaining. For
Very
sure.
entertaining.
It was pretty good.
Surprised out of all the shows that's on your list, but all right, cool.
Out of all the shows, I thought this year was the easiest one to make a list, but I guess I'm wrong. I guess I've changed.
Now I'm the spicy one, and Mark is the boring one.
Isaac's just out here just causing fights with everybody today. My goodness gracious. Did not have that on my bingo card
He's
coming
doing
in
his
today.
best to get out of the bros.
Seriously, my goodness gracious. All right.
Can't wait
number
for
5
another
me,
Christian podcast to pick me up soon.
The beacon has been
The
lit.
Christian bros.
Christian bros.
Wow. What's
Number 5 for me is Murderville. This is hilarious. It's great. The Marshawn Lynch episode is some of the best TV I've ever seen. I love Murderville. I think it's great. And I think Netflix has struck gold. I think they need to to lock that up for like 5 to 10 seasons. It's that good. And I can't imagine it's that difficult to film for them.
You just go to like on location sets and like it's probably very minimal cost.
I
Is getting people in.
I
very
completely
funny.
forgot about that show.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Very, and I tip my hat to them. It's a very unique idea, and I think I hope they get even bigger celebrities on. I'm really looking forward to what that show can do. So, Zane, go ahead.
My number 5 is also Murderville.
Let's
That
go.
show, like, it just
Wow.
super funny, and yeah, it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Wow.
Just give me more celebrities, and like they had that Christmas special, which was fantastic. Like, just keep giving me more Murderville.
It's definitely on my list. It looks hilarious. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet.
Jarrett, number 5.
Number 5 was Wednesday. I didn't expect to like this TV show. To be honest, we were sitting on the couch and Christian was like, "Hey, we should check out this Wednesday. Everybody's talking about how good it is." And I'm like, I have zero interest in watching this.
See, you hold on. You didn't watch more than 6 movies, but you watched Wednesday?
Absolutely.
His wife wanted to.
Absolutely. And it is
I mean, you can't argue with the wife, so
surprisingly
Can't argue with the
really good. It's a little predictable. Like the twist at the end, I feel like we all kind of saw coming. But in spite of that, I think it was still a phenomenal watch, and you should definitely go check it out.
all right.
Agreed. Isaac, we're heading to number 4. You're back up at the top. Here we go.
My number 4 is Severance. This show was fantastic. Apple TV Plus has got a gold mine of fantastic shows and movies now, with a few that have recently come out. But man, Severance was fantastic. What's his face? Adam Scott. Great. Absolutely love him. This is a show that I think this is like a must watch. Like, everybody needs to watch this show. It's great. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like we're so oversaturated with so much stuff in media right now that like original ideas are hard to come by. And this is like somewhat of an original idea. So it's very fresh and it's pretty awesome. So can't wait for season 2 to come out. But Severance is my number 4.
Robbie, number 4.
I didn't think I'd be here putting Andor higher than Isaac, but here we are. My number 4 is Andor.
It deserves
it's one
to
of the
be
best
higher, so.
Star Wars properties we've had in years. And it really it dived into a world of Star Wars that we haven't really explored that much, which kind of ties into the Rogue One. Rogue One was one of my favorite Star Wars films, which explains why I loved Andor so much. J Buck had mentioned this. If you watch this thing in like 3 different parts, like watch all 3 episodes of the start, watch all 4 in the middle, then finish it out. It is an incredible experience. Just a solid show, and it's the best Disney Plus show of the year.
I agree. Disney Plus. Phase 4 was rough, man. We'll talk about this later, but yikes.
Yeah.
Mark, go ahead.
Yeah.
My number 4 was Severance.
Yeah,
the
buddy.
psychological thriller.
Let's go.
Great stuff, Max. You should see it.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
has Scott seen it? Like, what does Scott think?
Yeah, I'll need to wait to
No,
see what
if-
Scott says, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Let's
either Elliot
wait
or
and see what's
Scott
up.
before Max watches anything.
I love it.
Elliot Weeds is dictating my watch history before
And
Mark.
Scott.
Elliot and
It's
Scott. Yeah, you listen
Elliot
to
and
Scott and
Scott,
Elliot,
yeah.
but
What a
not
youth.
us.
What a
Not us.
combination.
Those two.
Could be
Number
talking about
4
it for 2 years and screw that guy, right?
Yeah, screw that guy. Number 4 for me. I'm with you, Isaac. This is where my list. They're all 6s. She-Hulk's number 4. I think this is some of the best. Well, we'll talk about Phase 4 later. I think She-Hulk is severely underrated. I think it's the most underrated property Marvel has. I think it did a tremendous job. It still holds up. I've rewatched some episodes, and it's still funny. I know a lot of people disagree, but I really love this show, and you can listen to our reviews on that, so I don't need to talk about it anymore. So, Zine, number 4 for you.
My number 4 is also She-Hulk. I feel like you're copying my list a little bit.
Zane, I love that.
Did you look at his paper?
Yeah,
That's
copying his
impossible
paper.
because Zane came up with it 5 minutes before we started. So it's
No,
impossible.
Zane just came up with it 2 seconds ago because he's like, "Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna do She-Hulk."
Let's be real. Let's be real. We all did that.
Okay, Jared, go ahead.
Now I feel like an idiot for not putting She-Hulk on my list. Also, if you guys haven't, go check out Dan Slott on Twitter. Dude is killing. He's taking names in the comments.
Yeah, he is.
Oh my gosh, everything he had to say about She-Hulk was phenomenal. Number 4 for me was Moon Knight. Again, phenomenal TV show, and even more so because of what it meant for me as like an OG Moon Knight fan as a little boy. I never thought I would ever see this on any sort of screen ever, and so to see it like played out by one of my favorite actors and done this well, phenomenal. Which should tell you how amazing my 3 above this are.
Jared, I want to comment too on Moon Knight. It was not a hit for me this year, but I loved talking with you through the whole process. I loved going on that journey with you. You made that experience better for me. I just want to say that out loud. That experience was way better for me.
I mean, like, I would encourage everybody listening to go back to our Moon Knight and Hawkeye episodes because Jarrett has some fantastic insight. Being like a basic, Jarrett, I would say you're a comic expert on those 2 characters. So being on those two like review episodes, it's really good to have Jarrett's insight on that. So make sure you go check out those episodes for sure.
Okay,
This is the year
Isaac,
of
we're
Jarrett,
back.
right?
Just keep talking, Isaac. You're back to number 3. You go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. My number 3 is The Boys, season 3. Best season of The Boys. And holy crap, guys. Like, how does this show keep getting better?
This year?
That was this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah. I
going
forgot
on
that was this
it
year.
was going
Oh
on
my
the
God.
same time as Stranger Things 2 or Stranger Things season 4. Like there was like in the summer there was like that month where there was like 4 shows going on at the same time. But season 3 of The Boys is the best season so far. I don't know how they keep getting wackier and crazier, but they do. They did Herogasm this year, and somehow it was the best episode of the season. Like, I was so worried for that episode. I was like, I don't know. Like, they might lose me with this episode, and they
Might
like.
awaken something inside you.
Well, I didn't think that, but
Well, now you're,
some
now you're
people.
speechless. I was just
Mark.
making a joke, but apparently maybe that's something.
Mark.
Wow.
Mark,
Season
I
3 of The
can't edit
Boys.
this one, Mark. I can't edit this one.
Guys,
It's the COVID talking.
season 3 of The Boys
Isaac
is.
has a new child this year. You know, weird
It
stuff
was
happens.
so
Mark.
good. They keep getting wackier and crazier, and the stakes keep getting higher somehow. Because like after season 1, I was like, how can they beat this? After season 2, I was like, how could they beat this? And now it's season 3, and it was the best season so far. So The Boys was 3.
Okay. Robbie, number 3.
I swear I do this every year where there's a show that I just forget came out this year. Happens every year. Okay? So I've made some adjustments because I'm just doing
Did you
it
put
now.
The Office on your list this year?
Again, he rewatched it and
Brilliant.
put it on this list again.
That's brilliant. That's
Brilliant.
funny.
Great stuff.
Actually, the
And it was
Friends
just as good as the
Christmas
first time I
special.
watched it.
He said Friends.
Still
No,
holds
my
up.
number 3.
What's your
My
number
number
3?
three. My number 3 of the year is Peacemaker. I freaking loved Peacemaker. Absolutely,
So good.
just a great time. Kind of in the same realm as The Boys. John Cena as Peacemaker is just hilarious. I know Max is just so pissed right now that anyone mentioned Peacemaker on this
That's
episode.
not what I'm mad about.
But I love Peacemaker. I think James Gunn should just keep going with Peacemaker. You know what? Forget Superman. Let's go John Cena as Peacemaker.
You shut your
I
mouth.
don't need Superman.
Hey,
Shut
hey,
your,
Robbie,
shut
Screw
your mouth.
Superman.
Yeah, dog.
See, we don't
Take
need
me in.
Superman.
take
Oh,
me in,
wait,
Robbie.
wait, tag.
Tag. My number 3, Peacemaker. Suck it, Max. Great stuff. John Cena shows up as Peacemaker.
Mark, do we
Part of the
DJ
Suicide Squad.
Mark-
Go fight
Mark-
some insect monsters.
Mark, do we D-Generation X stand up and
Yeah.
Oh
No,
my
I don't want to
gosh.
stand up. I don't feel good. If I had fireworks, I could blow up behind me.
Mark
Great,
stands
you know.
up and just like collapses on the podcast. Just
Oh
Yeah.
man.
he's just out.
All right.
Great,
Number 3.
Hey, Max, remember when Aquaman and the Flash showed up in that?
I
End of that?
certainly do.
And then like ghosts of Superman, Wonder Woman, and
Yep.
it was like foreshadowing, really. Now if you look
Yeah,
back at it.
It really
Oh my
was. Mark.
maybe James Gunn knew what was
Yeah,
going on.
James Gunn knew what was gonna happen. He's like,
It
I'm keeping
really
these
was,
2 at
Mark.
first. The other 3
Yes,
are
it
out.
was. Mhm.
But you know, John Cena, Peacemaker, great stuff, Max. You should go watch
Sure.
it.
Sure. A lot of people liked it. Number
Max,
3.
there's a really cool intro. I think you'll like.
Yeah, the intro.
It is
was-
really good
like.
intro.
there was
I
an
think you'll
intro.
really-
I can
it's
confirm.
one of
I
the
can
best
confirm
intros of all
It
time.
might be the
I will
best
say.
intro of 2022. To be
Yeah, okay.
completely
Easily
Alright.
honest.
best intro of 2020.
Sounds good, guys. Number 3 for
Moving
me
on.
is number 3 for me is Severance. There's been talks about Severance. Only thing I would add is if you know nothing about Severance, just continue to know nothing and go watch Severance, because the less you know, the better the show is. There's no way, if you know nothing about the show, that you can predict what happens in that final episode. There's just literally no way. I couldn't. 1,000 guesses couldn't guess.
I agree with Max 100% because he's like, hey, have you watched Severance yet? As I had it on my list, he's like, you gotta go watch it. It's like, well, you know, spice it up for me. And he's like, no, you just gotta go watch it. And then I was so thankful he never told me anything about it.
Yeah, agreed.
I couldn't believe the last episode. Some things I was watching, just couldn't believe it. So
Wild stuff.
Wild stuff. Zane, number 3.
Number 3, and whose theme music is this? Who's coming to the ring? It's Peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
Oh my goodness!
Let's go! A third Bash Bro! There are now 3 Bash Bros!
Oh my gosh. If Peacemaker
Oh,
wins
how we
TV
doing?
shows, Max is gonna be so mad.
Max,
He's gonna transform into Mad Max right now on this podcast.
We're about to send him down a Fury Road.
Jarrett, go ahead. You're number 3.
So I tried watching Peacemaker, but it really frustrated me that the main character never actually showed up on screen.
In your stupid face, Max.
Got him!
Got him.
Max is done tonight. He's just gonna throw his headset and leave. Number 3 is Andor. We've talked about it enough. Andor is phenomenal. The speech, both speeches in that film, like I quote those to myself daily when I look in the mirror. What have I sacrificed? Everything, and then I just go to work and
Love
yeah,
that.
it's phenomenal. Go watch Andor.
We're gonna go back to number 2. Just also for context on Andor, I haven't watched it yet. Everybody knows that I'm a big Star Wars guy, but I will say my dad has watched this whole season, and he is not a big TV guy. He would prefer to watch documentaries about World War II. He's a weirdo. But he said to me a couple days ago, when are you guys talking about Andor in your podcast? I'd like to listen. And I was like, what?
Wow.
What?
And you
So,
gave
like,
him all the
he
links,
is-
right, Max? You gave him all the links to all the
I-
podcasts that we did
yeah,
about
I sure
Andor.
Sorry,
Give 'em
Dad,
all
I
of
don't
them.
promote my podcast to you. It's all right.
Yeah, Steve,
You don't have to fight it yourself, Steven.
Steven, at this point, I don't know what to think. So for whatever that, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't comment on it. But I think that's very impressive.
That's impressive. Yeah.
That's very impressive to me about Andor.
high praise.
That's high praise.
High praise.
Isaac, we're gonna go back to
High
you. The number 2
praise.
TV show of the year.
My number 2 TV show of 2022 is Stranger Things Season 4. This is another show that just keeps getting better. I think the only criticism that I can have of it is that the actors are, they're like 20 and they're trying to be 16-year-olds. So that's like a little bit of a slight, but like, wow, the story is fantastic. The Duffer Brothers knocked it out of the park with their vision. It just keeps going and getting better. I cannot wait for season 5 when everybody looks like they're 30 years old. It's gonna be fantastic. But yeah, amazing show. Just keeps getting better. Vecna was an incredible villain in this season. So that is my number 2.
Robbie.
I am echoing Isaac. Again, had to make some maneuvers, had to change some things because my mind just spaced some shows that came out this year. So I had to put some other ones in honorable mentions that I'm not even going to mention.
How many shots of Jameson did you have today, Robbie, when you're making your list?
None. I haven't had any. I had a peanut butter whiskey, but it's nothing to do with that. It's just I just forgot. I legit just forgot some shows that came out this year. So my number 2 is Stranger Things as well. I echo everything Isaac said. Kind of like Wednesday became another cultural phenomenon. It had a Running Up That Hill song, which was never really that
What was
popular.
that song called again? What was
Running
it?
Up-
Was it Running Up the Hill? Was it that one?
Running Up
Yes.
Never
the
mind.
Hill?
You have
I think
it's rosy cheek, Robbie. I was trying to.
I think you're
understand.
getting at something, but I don't know what
I don't get it.
So
I don't get what it
don't
is
understand either.
What's the bit, Mark?
What's the
there?
bit?
Yeah, tell us
Never
what.
mind.
What are you up to,
I was
Mark?
trying to have, I just a
That's my
little
number
tongue
2.
cheek fun. And
Hi. Lily
Mark
decided
has
to
a
join
fever
the
of
podcast.
109, and he's trying to joke with us right now. Guys, what's the name of the song?
and those horse tranquilizers are working pretty good.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Right from Daddy Trump, stuff.
Mark,
Gang,
we're
gang.
talking about Donald Trump now. Okay, Mark, I'm just
And
gonna
we're
tell you
moving
number 2 movie,
on.
Mark. Let's keep going on that.
TV show, Mark.
Number 2
Oh my
movie.
gosh.
Man,
A
I thought we
TV
were
show.
gonna
So
bet.
sorry. Yeah,
Best
words
line,
are hard.
best line we've
Hey,
had so far
Max,
tonight.
you didn't see this coming. Number 2 Peacemaker again. Kidding.
Oh my gosh!
It's
Wow.
Andor. Andor's my number 2.
We are off the rails.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah.
Andor's my
Train
number 2.
has crashed.
I'm really surprised Andor wasn't higher on a lot of guys' lists. Like that show was just
Yeah,
I wish it
there's
was.
something
gave
else.
it,
I don't know
Isaac
about
gave it
why.
so much praise over the year. You'd think he would have been his number one, but no.
No. There's another
just,
show.
there's
man.
just so
Just
many
new.
good
It's
shows.
just,
There's another.
It's just,
Oh,
it's
Mark,
just new
you
Isaac.
know,
This is
you
just-
know, Mark. You
this-
know.
This is new Isaac.
Isaac and I, intellectuals, know what our number ones are.
We know. We know what's
I
number one.
imagine.
We know.
I imagine we all know what number one is for a lot of us.
Yes, it's Righteous Gemstones. Anyway, moving on. Max, go on.
It's
What's your number
Morbius, the TV show. All right, moving on.
It's Morbius TV show.
Morbius broken up into 8 parts.
For me, number 2 is From. I think this show is unbelievable. It's the first time I've had the feeling that I'm watching Lost since I was in high school. I think this show has. I really, really hope this show does exactly what Lost did. I hope it stays as mysterious as possible. I hope that it goes to a different network, Zane. I don't want it on this obscure network where nobody can watch it. It needs to get put on Amazon, or I just hope one of these other properties sees how big this is. It's literally keeping epics in the game. Like it's I've read articles that say it's by far their best show. So well done, so well written. It's the scariest thing I've ever watched in my life. I'd also add that. It's the most horrifying horror I've watched, I think. Intentionally.
So good. So good.
Oh, intentionally. Okay, that's okay. I was just like, there is. I got some stuff for you, Max. if you want
No,
scary.
Mark, I'm good. Is it the Terrifier? Was it the one the guy with
Terrifier's not scary. Terrifier's disgusting. There's a
Gotcha.
difference.
Fair enough. Well, I just would say that I think if you have not heard of this, I think it is worth a subscription to Epix. It's that good.
Yeah.
So, but if you are squeamish or not into horror, there's a chance it couldn't be for you. But I think it's so well written that it's worth a shot for everybody. So, Zine.
My number 2 is season 3 of The Boys. Yeah, it was on my list. I'm not like Robbie, who totally forgot about it. But
That was
yeah,
like 2021, right?
I deserve
Okay.
that.
All
Yeah.
right.
I deserve that.
Jared,
It's fair.
Jared, go
It's
ahead.
fair.
Jared,
Fair
number 2.
shot.
I don't know if any of you guys have watched this. You absolutely should. This is a must-watch TV show. It's The Bear on Hulu. I did not expect to enjoy this as much as I did. It is
have watched
so
a few
freaking
episodes.
good. Oh my gosh, dude, you got to finish this season. It is phenomenal. It is so wild. If you like cooking in any way, shape, or form, it's amazing, and it has some really good humor, and it gets real deep and real serious. I'm not going to try to spoil anymore, but must watch. Please, please, please. If you have Hulu, don't sleep on the show.
of course, Jarrett loves a show called The Bear.
Yeah, that's a layup,
Yeah.
right?
That's a
Literally
layup.
in his
It's
Twitter
on
name.
brand.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, the number 1 TV show of 2022. We're gonna start with Isaac. Go ahead, Isaac.
Can I guess Isaac's real quick?
Sure, go for it.
Sure. Yeah.
Peacemaker.
Is it Bluey season 3?
Gosh, I wish it was. Oh my gosh. Bluey season 3 was fantastic, but unfortunately it didn't make my list. But my number one
An honorable
show
mention for sure.
of 2022, and actually I watched this show in its entirety in 2022, but season 3 is, again, it's just one of those shows that keeps getting better and better. Mark knows where it's at. It's For All Mankind. Wow, this show just it brings me back to the days of watching Lost. Max, this is why I think you would like this show, because
I'm halfway through season 1. We're taking our time through it. Yes,
because
we are watching it though.
It's like
wild.
My heart is pounding so hard through all of these episodes. Like, they're so intense, and just the super high stakes, like, and it's like real life. Like, Zane, you would also like this because it's like a basically historical fiction. Like, they start in the 60s when, they land on the moon, space race. And it's so fantastic. Mark,
I would say don't spoil anything else past that.
yeah, no, I'm not going to say
Leave it at
anything
that.
else.
Yeah,
But
okay.
wow, it's incredible. Like, just like I remember watching Lost back in college, and it was after it all had aired and everything. So I would stay up until 3-4 a.m. binging Lost episodes, because you can't stop watching after those cliffhangers. And this is the same type of feeling that I have. I was like, I can't just stop right now. I have to keep watching. I have to know what happens in the next episode. So this is the first show that has made me feel this way since Lost way back when I was in college. So For All Mankind, incredible show on Apple TV Plus. It is a absolute must watch if you have that platform. So
Robbie,
With that, how
Oh, go
have we not gotten Isaac to watch From yet? Like,
I don't know, man. I think the horror part is going to be a drop off for some people in From.
I can
think
get
it's a
over
reality of the
over horror if it's as long as it's engaging and stuff like that. Like
all right,
horror is not.
Isaac watch From. Isaac watch From.
All right.
There you go.
But before we keep going, Mark did recommend For All Mankind. Scott did not recommend it, even though I told him Scott recommended it, and that's why I watched it. And it really made Mark mad.
That's pretty big, Max, of you.
I just
Wow,
want
you
to
said
publicly say that
said that
Mark
live,
recommended
yeah.
it, so Mark can feel better.
I want to
to
clarify too. Thank you so much for putting me onto the show, Mark, because this might be my favorite show of all time. Like this is wow, it's an incredible show.
I'm with Max. I've only watched like 7 episodes, but it's
fun, man.
It's meaty. It's like it's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason I can't go fast through it. I can't.
Take some
You need time to
processing.
process.
Yeah.
I have to sit
Well,
and
and
watch
that's
it.
what-
Like I cannot
When
be on my
Isaac
phone.
said that he binge watched all of it, I was like, oh my gosh, I thought it was a lot watching it every week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell this story again. I think I actually told it on an episode of the podcast way back when, but like, so my wife did not watch this show with me. But my wife, I'm bringing that back. All right. She did not watch the show with me, but she was, however, in the room when I was watching several episodes. And I thought there was one time where I thought she was asleep, and I just was like, I watched like 3-4 episodes in a row. This part happened, and it was just emotionally like, heavy. And I turned over her, and she was crying. She was awake watching this show. I thought she was sleeping the whole time, and she doesn't even she doesn't even know what's going on in this whole show. But like, she was just sobbing because of the emotional payload of this episode, and I was crying too because it was, holy moly, it's crazy.
Wow.
So anyways, yeah, this show, incredible. Scott says thought she was crying because you're an absent father. No, that was before we had our child.
That was
So,
before
we had our third child. So
a little Scott Zinger for you.
Wow.
Scott, wow.
Rosie.
Zing.
But anyways,
All right.
fantastic show. Highly recommend.
Robbie, your number one TV show of 2022.
I'm honestly shocked that this hasn't come up yet. My number one TV show of 2022 was House of Dragon. I'm honestly shocked that that's not higher on everyone's list, or at least on everyone's list. We got back into the Game of Thrones, and it was a very, very good adaptation that really dove into Game of Thrones again. And I honestly am shocked. I thought more people would have put that on their list, but I'll be the only one. I'll be the one. That's my number one of the year. I loved it.
You can be that guy.
Enjoyed every single episode.
You can be that guy, Robbie. It's okay.
No,
That's fair, Robbie.
how do you have it
was
as
awful.
number one? He has it as number one, but he calls it House of Dragon. It's House of the Dragon.
Oh my gosh, I forgot a word. Oh no.
It matters. It
Bang,
can be a
bang.
totally different show.
We
my God.
have
I'm actually
Zane out here. Actually,
I
that was a
point out-
big actually moment.
That's a huge thing.
I
See,
will back up Zane on that because there's Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad. Two different movies.
Here we go.
Can you imagine if you made that error? Robbie would
Jeez.
be all over you if you made that error, Mark. He'd be all over you.
Over
like,
Mark?
yeah, I'm right.
No. Mark is fine.
would
If Zane made that error,
If Zane made that error, oh yeah, you'd be all
How
over.
dare
That's
you
fair.
show up for your second episode of the year and mess up a title?
Well, it's
Dare
only
you.
2023.
yeah.
Actually, guys, it's House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon.
Well, it is. By calling it House of Dragon
Dragon.
makes it sound like you're talking about a dragon's house. We aren't
It sounds
talking
like a
about an
Kung
actual
Fu movie.
dragon's house.
House of the Dragon could also be a dragon's house. Still possession.
Yeah, and that's what the show's
Or it could
called.
be a movie
House of
about
the
like a
Dragon.
drug dealer in St. Louis. You know, whatever.
Could be a
Shut
lot
your
of things.
mouth,
We're gonna
Zane.
move on. Mark, your number one TV show of 2022.
I think we all know what it is.
Bluey
Season
season 3.
Blue.
Oh no, my bad. It's For All Mankind. Season
Okay.
3. Great stuff. fantastic. Isaac already said everything. Historical fiction, great stuff. What's his name's in it? Rick Flag from the Suicide Squad and
Gosh,
Suicide
what's his
Squad.
name? I forgot it.
He's in both.
He's in both.
I think
of
he's
the
also in the new
Suicide Squad.
RoboCop.
Man of many talents.
Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah, there you go. Thank
Kinnaman,
you.
yeah.
Great actor. Great stuff.
Good
Can't
stuff.
say enough about it.
Absolutely.
I'll keep going because it's been talked about. But number one for me is Stranger Things. I think culturally, running up that hill, Mark, that song you really liked.
What hill are you running up?
The hill. I think that was such a big cultural moment. For me, what really sticks out about that show is just I have to go work for a month at these camps for my job, and it just was a really taxing month this summer. And that Stranger Things Volume 2 drop was just a breath of fresh air for me in that season. And Isaac, I agree. There was some flaws in the second volume of season 4, but man, that first volume of season 4 was just fantastic. I think Vecna is one of the best TV movie villains ever, personally.
So good.
And I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do with the next couple seasons. I think it's one or two more they're doing.
One more.
One.
I thought they had
5.
2 for some reason.
Season
I'm
5.
looking forward to the next season if it's the last. And I hope somebody else brings it up, but if it's not, then Stranger Things was great. I think Netflix has wisely doubled down on that show for good reason. So, Zane, go ahead. You're number one.
My number one is Halo. Just kidding. No, it's not.
I'm gonna
not.
drive to your house and punch you in the face.
Can you imagine?
I'm gonna
Visually
drive
triggered on that
to your
one.
house. I'm
Actually,
turning
it's
this
House
off.
of the Halo, Zane.
Actually, it's Halo is trash.
The Halo.
I
No,
hate
my
you.
number one is season 4 Stranger Things. Like, for everything talked about. But not only that, the amount of times I've gone back and just watched that scene of Eddie shredding Metallica in the
Bruh.
Upside Down.
Ugh.
Epic.
So good.
Dude,
Top
the
of the line
Max
epic.
escaping Vecna scene is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
epic.
watched that scene 20, 30 times. It's tremendous. It's a
That's,
great scene.
that's iconic
Is that
television. right
when
there.
she was
Like,
running
that's
up the hill?
so good.
Yes, Mark. Are you
Mark,
okay?
what
Are
is
you
this-
doing okay?
What are you trying with this bit? What are you
Mark,
trying
hang
to
in there,
do?
bud.
What's your end goal here?
Do you need
got
some?
COVID,
Mark's
man.
just, we can't even see the monitor. He's got so many hallucinations in front of him right now.
Love the Jared there, man.
What's happening? My glasses disappeared.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
It's a wild
Jarrett,
episode.
finally, your number one show of 2022.
Are we not talking about Rings of Power? How is this not number one for you guys?
I'm surprised nobody. Yeah, I'm surprised nobody
Oh
else
my
had it on their
gosh.
list.
Guys, this movie,
Wasn't that good?
this TV series freaking rocks. I know Mark has some weird vendetta against all the hop.
Why did
You know what?
Predator show up and kill them? Why?
Probably what
Oh
he's
my
seeing in front of him right now. We've all been replaced by halflings and hobbitses. I just loved it, man. I thought it was phenomenal. People lost their minds over the fact that they were like people of color, dwarves and elves. Grow up.
Well, what
hey,
happened to all of them? They're not
Hey,
in the Lord of the
hey,
Rings.
Hey,
They
grow
better
up.
explain that.
love
No, it's
it.
phenomenal. I love it.
I love
6
it,
out of
Mark.
6.
All right, Isaac, tell us in the chat if you're watching on Twitch what your favorite movie of 2022 was.
TV
And,
show.
TV show.
If you can
Mark- Come
decipher,
on, Max.
did I
Come
say
on.
movie again?
Said movie.
Doggone
Yes.
it. Your favorite
Yes, Max.
TV show of 2022. And if you can decipher Mark's joke, it would help us out tremendously because we don't understand what's going on. Isaac, have you tallied up the scores?
I have.
It's Stranger Things.
I have. Drum roll. Brrr. Yes, Mark is correct. It is Stranger Things season 4. By let's see, 10 votes. Pretty overwhelmingly Stranger
Three
Things
number
season 4.
ones.
Wow.
But yeah, there is 3 that are tied for number 2. It's Severance, For All Mankind, and Peacemaker are all tied for number 2. So Mark and my number 1 For All Mankind pushed it to tie with number 2. So
Makes it real good.
good work, Mark.
Peacemakers and
Guys, I have to take
That's
a
interval
quick
time.
break here, but those of you guys in chat, make sure you put !enter to get entered into the giveaway. We'll draw that when we come back here. And so stay right there. We still have 2 more StanLee categories to go. So
Wow.
Look, I get it. You're lazy, and coffee from the grocery store is just as good as ordering from somewhere like Mini World's Tavern, right? Wrong! That's dumb, and you should feel so dumb for thinking that. Does your local grocery store donate a portion of their proceeds to charity? Actually, if they do that, that is kind of awesome. But we guarantee that Mini World's Tavern does that. Besides, it's not like your grocery store provides an amazing monthly blend with added RPG-themed bonuses. That's a limited edition Mini World's Tavern exclusive, baby. They are the online coffee brand that's perfect for game night. Guys, I should know. Before every podcast and every time I go live on Twitch, I fill an entire bathtub full of Great Old One, and I do my best Lord Harkonnen impression. Guys, grab a bag for yourself right now. Go to www.miniworldstavern.com/theinfinitybros, all one word. And guess what? You're going to save yourself 10% at checkout.
Welcome back to the second half of the Infinity Bros podcast, the StanLees of 2022 as we reign in the 2023 new year. This segment, we're going to be talking about our Infinity Gems, that are things or properties or moments that were celebrations for us personally. Individually, we will do this in the same way we did it with the movies and TV shows. We're going to start with the same order we did at the beginning with our movies. So we're going to start with Jarrett. Jarrett, tell us your number 6 Infinity Gem moment.
The Devil's Reign comic run. If you're not reading this, if you've been out of comics for a while, it's a good time to hop back in. I don't want to spoil too much, but if you're a fan of everything going on with Daredevil right now and sort of the comic book culture in New York City and some of the big players in there, you have to check this out. It's phenomenal and has one of my favorite Moon Knight spinoffs of all time.
Zane, go ahead.
I'm just gonna preface this by saying all of my Infinity Gems are video games, so just deal with it.
Not surprised.
Wait. Do you have a platinum on every single one of these video games?
Not all of them, no.
A little disappointing.
Yeah, me too. Number 6 is Deep Rock Galactic.
Ooh.
A lot of
Banger.
hours.
There's some good memories. Good memories in that one.
Good memories digging through the mines,
Banger.
slapping some dice and yeah. So Deep Rock Galactic. Slap the dice.
For me, the Infinity Gems moment number 6 for me was Hugh Jackman returning. I thought his returning to be in Deadpool 3 was a moment. I know exactly where I was. I still can't believe it. And I'm very excited for that moment. I cannot wait to see that on the screen as well. So, Mark, we're going to pass it off to you.
My number 6 is the same as Jarrett's number 6.
Really?
Devil's Reign.
Wow.
Series has
Nice.
been
A man of taste and culture.
intellectual pick right there. Usual stuff for me. So yeah, great run. Love it. Want more.
Robbie.
My number 6 is a video game called Vampire Survivors. This is like a 2D platform video game. It's very, very fun. It's just a classic run around. You like gain different abilities and just kill things and try to survive as long as you can. Super fun just to waste like 10-20 minutes just playing around of that game. If you haven't checked it out, it is free on Xbox Game Pass, so I encourage you to try it. Really, really enjoyed that video game.
All right, we'll go back to the... Oh, I'm sorry, Isaac. I apologize, Isaac.
All right, my number 6 is... Sorry, this is kind of generic, but we as the Infinity Bros hit a lot of milestones this year, and I thought that was kind of cool. So we had an episode that hit 1,000 downloads. We had our podcast general hit 20,000 downloads. So I thought we had an awesome year, and there's nowhere to go but up from here. So here we go. That was my,
All right.
my number 6.
Now we'll go back to Jarrett. Jarrett, your number 5 moment, Infinity Gem of the year.
My number 5 is actually a continuation of a series that's been running for a while, and I want to say was on my list last year. It just continues to get better. It's called Something is Killing the Children.
Mm-hmm.
It is a phenomenal indie comic. If you haven't checked it out, please go. I believe there's a spinoff. I haven't read the spinoff, so I don't know if that's any good or not. But like, if you're not reading this series, you absolutely should.
Yeah, I believe it's from the same people as the Power Rangers, right?
I believe so. Something is killing.
Power Rangers killing the children?
No, I just know that I.
Oh,
Eh.
get a
It's
wacky
boom.
crossover.
That's not
Yep, it's
good.
boom. There you go, boom. I don't know why I remember that. That was weird. But I believe you. I heard it from you, Jared, but I also heard it from another podcast. So I've that's on my list. I just haven't
It's
grabbed it.
very good. I feel like we've been talking about like the
Looks
pipeline
spooky.
to the pipeline from like comic books to TV shows, and especially with like the success of stuff like Invincible. This would make a phenomenal like Amazon Prime or Netflix TV show for sure.
Check it out. Zane, number 5.
My number 5, something that kind of came and swept through the Infinity Bros for sure. Jared's not gonna like this because he sucks at it. But my number 5 is Marvel Snap.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
Let's
dude.
go. Snaps.
It just came out of nowhere, and yeah, I think just about
Like a
everyone's just a snap.
So good.
So that's my number 5.
Okay, I'll go now. Number 5 was Gina Carano blocking us on Twitter. I really, really loved this moment. I think this is
Solid.
one of my
Absolutely
favorite moments in the
solid.
history of our podcast. If we do nothing else right or wrong, that's
did
great.
good.
I know
did
exactly.
good.
I forgot
I
about that. That's
remember
wild.
the episode before. Mark and I were trashing her on
No,
the podcast.
no. I was not the trashing, the Gina Carano.
That was nothing to trash.
You never trashed her.
I don't believe that
If
that
we
conversation
went
went
back
like
to the
that
tape,
because I said, I think after it happens, like, I didn't even say anything bad about her because I'm a fan of hers.
We
in
might
The
like
Mandalorian.
But both of
the
us.
only reason too I can think of us being blocked by her is we're on a list of like followers or something of somebody she didn't like. Like there's got to be.
I think
'cause,
that's
like,
what it was.
I
but we
don't
also
even remember
posted
how
at
it
the
happened.
time.
Like I remember going to her
We
profile
posted
for some
something
reason.
about her though.
We
we
did.
definitely
we
we
posted
said
something
something
about
about her. Yeah,
But the episode
tagged her
before
in
she
something.
did that, Mark and I were talking about because it was during that season where she's in Mandalorian and she's not coming back to Mandalorian, and Mark and I were just the communication and the dialogue we had was, do you really think you're that vital to this story that you would risk this? And I stand by that. She never was, and I know she's famous in the Hollywood sphere, and I'm sure she'll be doing just fine. But it's a bit of a badge for me that we had our first celebrity hater was Gina Carano. So nothing political past that. It's just really like, do you really think you're that vital to the story of Mandalorian? But I love that she blocked us. I think it's a big moment for us. Isaac, you talked about milestones. I was looking back this year, and I thought it was
That's a milestone
hilarious
for
moment.
Max right there.
Hilarious moment. So there you go.
Nice.
Mark, go ahead.
My number 5 is AXE Judgment Day run that's going on. It's Avengers, X-Men, Eternals. It's a Marvel run.
Yes.
Check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you want me to
Okay.
expound more, Max?
No,
You
we're
just gotta-
good. You've made it
Please
awkward
don't.
enough. We're good.
It's
Thank
got the Avengers. It's got
Oh,
the
Are the
X-Men,
X-Men in it?
and the Eternals.
What?
The Eternals.
Okay. All right. Well, let's pass it off to
Shocking
Robbie.
turn of
Hopefully, he
events.
can be a little more vague.
High on Life. It's a video game.
He said be more vague, not more uninteresting.
Okay.
Zane with the zingers. Oh, hey.
This is what Zane does when he shows up on the show and I'm on as well. He just attacks
Oh my
whatever I say.
gosh. All right.
It's just
Well,
how, that's our relationship. I will expand though. High on Life is a very, very entertaining video game. If you haven't played it or seen any video of it, please check some out. Not safe for children or for work. But if you like Rick and Morty, that type of humor, you would really enjoy High on Life.
I'm just glad you got the title right.
High on the Life?
High on Life.
That's gonna be another running bit. Here we
That's
go.
a clip for sure.
next bit.
Isaac, go ahead. Your number 5 moment.
My number 5 was going to my first ever con this year. Mark and I and Robbie were able to attend Twin Cities Con this year, and it was a blast. There was a lot of really cool stuff to see. We're hoping to next year, there's 2 Minnesota cons going on next year, so hopefully at one of them we'll be able to have a booth and meet some new people and do some fun things. But it was a blast, and I can't wait to do more of them with you guys.
Can't wait
it was
to
really
pop
fun.
Max's cherry at one of these cons.
I've been to a con before. I just haven't been to one with you guys.
So you haven't been to Twin Cities
Yeah.
Con. We're gonna pop
I'm in
your
the Twin Cities Con. Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah, totally. Okay. All right, Jarrett, number 4, you're up.
COVID mark.
Number 4 was a Magic event that meant a lot to me because it was one of my favorite sets of all time, and the revisit to Kamigawa in the form of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. It was really cool to go back to this, and they've been doing a lot with like revisiting nostalgic locations from Magic's history, but I don't know, this one landed the best for me, and this is probably the biggest set that, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Robbie, I think this was the big set that you eventually got in on, and so it was cool to share.
This revamped my love for Magic.
Absolutely. And so like not only to see this from like a standpoint of me who's very ingrained in this, but to see a lot of people either returning or picking it up for the first time was really cool. And so I think all the stuff that they've been doing is a very hit or miss, but that's one that landed for me.
Zane.
Let's see here. My number 4 is something that me and Isaac have been spending a lot of time with, is the game Midnight Suns. Definitely plenty of stuff you can say as cons or knocks on it, but the gameplay of it is so dang fun. Just keeps me coming back for more. Plays out like a comic book. Super fun. Highly recommend it.
Actually, it's Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Here we go.
That's the official title. Please get it right.
Got him.
So I gotta take a break out here. You remember the game that was called Seen It? It was like a board game. You put like a
yeah.
DVD
I play that all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like this whole thing is just bring me flashbacks. So I was playing that with my sisters, and it was a movie one, and the answer was The Abyss, and one of my sisters said Abyss, and I was like, no, it's effing The Abyss. So then anytime we get in an argument about stuff like that, they're like, it's The Abyss to me. So I'm with Zane. It's like, no, it's the title of the movie is The Abyss. So I get it. Whatever.
We need a segment that is just like Uncle Mark's fireside chat. just stories of yesteryear.
Oh my gosh. I'd watch
My
that.
word.
Before Crown Mark, here are all the stories.
Pre-Crown
You
Mark.
talk about a
BC Mark.
that's a level of pettiness I have not heard in a long time.
Hey, when you
Good
play
for
a
you.
board game with me, it's blood in, blood out. I don't care. You're 5, 10, 100. I'm not sliding no rules for you, bro.
All right, dog. Okay.
Love it.
My number 4 moment. This is probably, for some people, they'll think this is very low, but for me, it's the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. I really like this trailer. I am really excited to see what happens next in the adventure with Sora. The cliffhanger of season 3 was not the best. I think they could have done a little better. Kingdom Hearts 3 is the weakest of the 3 main Kingdom Hearts games, in my opinion, but still was a great time. I'm really looking forward to this game. I think the graphics and the gameplay will lend themselves to be much more adventurous. So I'm excited. So great trailer. Great trailer.
What's
I thought. It was really good.
what's the gimmick for that one? Do you got to play it on like a smartwatch?
Got him.
Unlike Sora, my friends are not my power.
Whatever, bro.
Mark, we'll
No
pass,
one else
Mark,
cares
we'll pass
about
it
that.
off to you.
All right, what number are we on? 4?
4.
4? Okay, thank you. My number 4 is Dark Crisis on Infinite. Oh, I can't say it. Infinite Earths. God. I can't say words right now.
Struggling.
You're doing great.
Well, it's originally called Dark Crisis, and then they added the other part later. But, DC stuff. It's great.
Just
Is there
expand
a
on
V
old,
in it, or is it
just,
without a V?
just expand on old properties. That's what we do.
Yeah, it's great stuff. DC, all your, crazy cats are in that stuff. Max, you like it.
Oh, you crazy
go
cats.
read it.
Crazy cats.
Can't handle Mark right now.
I can't handle me either, Robbie.
Okay, Robbie, go ahead.
Mark can't even handle it.
I do this every year, and I'm just gonna make it what I do every year. I'm gonna release my Funko Pop of the year. My Funko Pop of the year, is the JSA comic cover with the mini characters. That is my Funko Pop of the year. I'm putting that at my my number whatever we're on. So that's number 3, number 4. That's my number 4 of the year. That's my favorite Funko Pop of the year.
Are you giving that away to me?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm going to keep that one. Yes.
Okay. I'll take
Sorry.
Isaac, go ahead.
My number 4 is something that hasn't been mentioned yet, but I think will be on a few people's lists, is Elden Ring. As a father, I have not dove into an RPG for, since Skyrim, I feel like. Because I think I have this thing in the back of my head that I'm like, I'm not going to finish this game. So what's the point in even starting it? And Jarrett, and then Zane, and then Robbie kept beating me down with like, you need.
I think
to
I
Elden
was
Ring.
second.
Maybe you were. You and Zane were in there somewhere. Anyways, Jarrett was the main one that was beating me down.
Raiding party!
Retro Rewind Pod with the raid. Thank you guys so much. Anyways,
guys.
like Elden Ring, fantastic. Just, it's a great game. I'm not even like a From Software, like Dark Souls type of guy. Actually, don't like those games very much because they're hard, and I don't like it when games are hard for me because easy games are hard for me sometimes. So the fact that you guys got me into a a Soulsborne type game is pretty impressive, and I love the game. And Jarrett, your latest episode with Devin has kind of like reinvigorated my like, I want to get back into this game because I never finished it. Probably won't ever finish it without your guys' help, honestly, because I'm terrible at the game. But it is a lot of fun. So that's my number 4 of this.
The secret, and like I'm gonna give this to you for free. I know Prima charges for their strategy guides. I'm gonna give this one to you guys free of charge. Secret to playing any Soulsborne game is there's a stat that you have to rank up. It's called hating yourself. Once you get that to max and level it up, you're good to go.
Yeah, that's why you love this game so much, because you just I leveled up that stat so high.
It just makes sense. You hate yourself so much. I get it now.
Yeah, you just lower the difficulty setting so like you have fun playing the game.
There is no lowering the difficulty.
That's
What?
That's the mark.
You can't.
That's
You can't.
stupid.
You can't lower the difficulty.
Oh man. Jared,
Sucks
go ahead.
for
You're
all
up to number
mankind.
3.
Number 3 is actually something I discovered because of Magic the Gathering, and I ended up checking it out. So Magic did this crossover with Transformers, where they had a bunch of Transformers cards. It was really controversial. People freaked out. They lost their minds over this. One thing that they had were these alternate versions of all the famous Transformer characters, and they were known as the Shattered Glass versions. And I thought it was just like a cool gimmick, and then I found out there's a comic run called Shattered Glass. So I was like, I wonder what this is about. It is phenomenal. I'm hit or miss on Transformer comic, but reading this, they flip everything on its head, where the Autobots are the bad guys, the Decepticons are the good guys, but it's not as granular as that. I will leave you with that because I don't want to spoil too much, but like the star of the show, the best character in that entire series is Starscream, and like this is a phenomenal comic. If I can recommend any, I would recommend reading this over Something Is Killing the Children right now. It's phenomenal.
Very high praise from you, Zane.
High praise.
High praise.
Number 3 for me, something me and Jarrett have been enjoying a lot of, is a little Gundam Evolution. Because not only just the game, but even just the love of Gunpla and just all of it together, just kind of a fun little universe to be a part of. So that's my number 3.
Solid game. Solid game.
Is that the universe that starts before or after Transformers?
It starts before Transformers.
And it's
Couple
after
years.
GoBot.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
that's true.
Mark. Thank
After
you.
GoBot.
Thank you. Yeah, there we
You're
go.
welcome.
Was Zoids before that, or
Oh,
Zoids start
That's
right.
an alternate universe, is Zoids.
yeah.
Zoids is alternate universe.
Sure. Sure.
for the yeah, it's like
You're thinking of
okay.
Voltron. It's a whole different thing.
Right.
And
That's
Zane's
a
left the podcast.
parallel universe.
No. That That's Macross. You got it all wrong.
Right.
Oh, Zane's in on the joke. It's not funny anymore.
Metabots, guys. You're thinking of Metabots.
Moving on. Moving on.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
gonna move on.
Metabots, Jarrett, you and me, Metabots. I got you.
For me, number 3 is this to me was the year of Pokemon Switch games, Pokemon Arceus and Scarlet, which I just got a couple weeks ago. Arceus was unbelievable. I really, really loved this game. I got to stream it and play it, and we talked about this last episode, but Robbie, you had brought up the graphics of Scarlet and Violet have been like really ridiculed. And after playing now, getting more hours under my belt, I totally see the criticism now. And I still think it's egregious to call it like terrible and the worst graphics ever, but they're not great. But I think this year of Pokemon has really reinvigorated my excitement for the game. So I've really enjoyed playing it. And I know there's rumors of a Switch transition to another console. I look forward to that season and probably buying more Pokemon games. But yeah, for me, this is the year of Pokemon. So Arceus and Scarlet were great for me. Let's head over to Mark.
Number 3 for me is, you guessed it, another comic book. It's Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty.
I've heard good things about that one.
Tickled my fancy.
Oh.
Highly recommend. Max, it's got Captain America, so you like it. And
Sure, yeah, that's okay.
And not Sam Wilson, Captain America. So
Very good.
Okay.
I have heard good things about him.
Mark, what would you rate that comic?
Like the story or like the
You tell me, dog. You tell me.
The comic book.
I would say all, if I'm recommending it, it's 5 out of 6 or higher. So there it is.
Okay, there it is.
That's vague, but okay.
Very vague. Robbie, go ahead.
I want you to form your own opinion if you go read a few series.
Nobody asked after that. We said, Robbie, it's your turn, and then you talked. You're good. Thank you. Robbie, go ahead.
Sorry,
my number 3 is Twin Cities Con with Mark and Isaac.
Nice.
It was a great time. My first con, popped that con cherry. Wish I would have been able to spend more time there. I was only able to spend a few hours, but definitely a really good time. A lot of really cool things to see. Wish I had a lot more money. That's the number one thing that I've learned about going to a con. I need more money.
And cash. Get stuff cheaper if you have cash. And not using a credit card.
Isaac,
Hey, thanks, Uncle Mark.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Jimbo.
Isaac, please go.
Oh gosh. All right, my number 3, Zane already mentioned it. It's Marvel's Midnight Suns. This game, honestly, like
Thanks for getting the name right.
Yeah, definitely wanted to get that right after Zane just completely butchered it. I absolutely love this game, and I knew I was gonna love it because XCOM and XCOM 2, some of my favorite games of all time. Like, I absolutely love the turn-based strategy type games, and everything I heard about this game coming into it was that it was like an XCOM spiritual successor type of game. And Zane already mentioned, the gameplay is fantastic. There definitely are some things about the game that are tough to consume, like the graphics. It definitely looks like a PS3 game for sure. But man, the gameplay is incredible. I've been really, really enjoying it. Is it? Yeah, it's probably my video game of the year, honestly. Unless you can consider one of my future things a video game. But man, it's just really enjoyable. I really love it. I'm closing in on finishing it. Probably in the next week or so I'll be able to get it done. And this is another game that I don't platinum that many games. I'm not like Zane where I see a game that is mildly okay and I'm like, oh, I would have platinum that game. But I think this is a game I'm gonna platinum. I think it's a game that I want to invest more time in. So it was really fun. Is really fun, I should say.
Number 2, back to you, Jarrett.
First of all, I love the Zane impression, and that he sounds like a 90s cartoon slime monster. I'm gonna platinum this game. Phenomenal. Number 2 is Gundam Evo. I was surprised how much I enjoyed this. Like, let's be real. It's not as visually polished as something like Overwatch because Overwatch looks like a freaking Pixar movie. But the gameplay behind this is phenomenal. And I was a little bit into Gundam before this, and I've just like gone down the rabbit hole. And Zane has like dragged me headfirst into the water, and I'm drowning in Gundam Evo right now. Phenomenal. It's taken over my life right now.
Zaner.
Number 2 for me is God of War Ragnarok. This is a game it just continued what was started in 2018. Just kept that ball rolling, and it just an entire story from what that game started to how this one finishes. Wonderful storytelling, fantastic graphics, just all in all, just a fantastic game.
Number 2 for me was Stranger Things Volume 1 and 2. I talked earlier a little bit about the season of my life watching this show. And for me, that was just a very awesome time that took me away from some things going on in life. I was very appreciative and grateful for that series. I really loved this series. This year in particular has really upped that motivation for me. Stranger Things season 4, Volume 1 and 2 were chef's kiss, 6 out of 6 for sure. Mark, your turn.
I thought we had a category for TV shows already. I'm confused.
We did, but I'm just saying for me that was one of my Infinity Gems. I just like felt like that was
Mark, your
one of
mic
the
is
ones.
off.
Max just got
Mark, your
bodied.
mic is off. Mark,
I
your mic
timed
is-
it all wrong because I said my number 2 is my experience watching Peacemaker because of all the stuff I needed to watch. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
my
Yeah.
number two is because I really related to everything that was going on there. You know, main character you can never see. You know, stuff like that. Number 2 is Marvel's Snap mobile game changer. I love it so much. I wish you could like team up and play other people. I think that'd be fun. That'd be a good feature.
It's coming.
So it's still like
coming.
So it's still like random opponents, but like you can team up with friends.
The private matches are coming
Yeah.
down the road. They've already announced that, so it's coming.
Alright. Well, can't wait for that to come.
Yeah, that'll be a really big crowd pleaser, won't that? When they do that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it will. Thank
Robbie,
you,
go
Max,
ahead.
for that wonderful
Yes,
insight.
yes, indeed.
We are
Right.
This
there you
is
go.
something.
Well,
else.
we're moving on. I guess I have 100
number-
Man,
degree
this-
temperature. Here we go.
this-
Number
awesome.
number 2 for me is 100% Jarrett's fault. Jarrett got me back into the money pit that is Magic the Gathering. So I spent way too much money in 2022 on Magic the Gathering. I now have a plethora of articles and just
And credit
objects
cards.
holding all my cards and that. Just as someone who is a collector, now I can collect little pieces of cardboard, and it's all Jarrett's fault. And Jared, I assume you will pay for all the damages that you've done to my family. That
I'm
is
sure
my number 2 of
Jessica
the year.
has like a picture of my face that she takes when she goes axe throwing. Just like,
Yeah.
Jared
"What
won't
have you
even
done
pay
to
Crown
my
10
husband?"
cents. You think he's
right.
gonna pay you?
But yeah, Magic was a game I loved when I was a kid. Haven't played it for years. But Jarrett got me back on that grind. I have slowed down because I was speeding down that hill, and now I'm
Now you're
slowing.
running
Now you're running up that hill.
Now I'm just running.
And it's
That's my
bad.
number 2.
Oh my gosh. Wow. This is wild.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Good stuff.
All right,
That
yeah,
was it. That was it.
Isaac, go ahead.
My number two is also Marvel Snap. This is the first mobile game that I played in like, I don't know, 7-8 years. Like I just gave up.
What about Pokemon Snap?
What?
Or Pokemon? What's the
That's
Pokemon?
true.
Pokemon
okay,
Go.
Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon
Pokemon Go was the
Or-
last one I played, which was what 2016 was when that one came
6
out.
years ago.
6 years ago. So yeah,
Some people still play it.
I don't play it anymore, but I applaud those who still do. So congratulations, Mark. But this game, it drew me back in. Like this game is fantastic. I absolutely love it. I've actually spent money on this game. This is the first. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know if I've ever spent money on a mobile game before. Like, this is probably the first time I've spent money on a mobile game. So yeah, it's fantastic. Absolutely love it. If this counts as a video game, it's probably my video game of the year. But yeah, I'm sucked in on this one. Spend way too many hours a day playing this, and when I go back to work, that's basically what I do at work. So yeah, good time.
So no more poker games anymore? Just
No,
Marvel Snap?
no Marvel Snap. Yeah, it's all.
It's just
all
a
in on
different
Marvel
card
Snap.
game. That's
Yeah,
all
it's
it
a-
is.
It's a different card game.
Because you've
Exactly.
taken all your coworkers' money. That's why.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
don't
to
have any
buy
money.
Christmas,
They don't have any
Mark.
money left
To
give
buy
me, so-
things in Marvel
yeah.
Snap. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Exactly.
There it is.
Got it.
All right, go ahead,
There it
Jarrett.
is.
Back to the top. The number one Infinity
one.
Gem of 2022 for you.
Do I have to say it, or do you guys already know? It's Elden Ring. It's Elden Ring. Because I hate myself. No. Phenomenal game. I think it's easily the most accessible of the Soulsborne genre. Really did a lot to reinvent itself without losing its identity. Right? Like, this is still a Dark Souls game in everything, in spirit and in all these things. But at the end of the day, it needed to change. It needed to adapt. Dark Souls 4 would have still sold, but not to the success that Elden Ring did. And the fact that they're continuing to improve on this, PvP was a big scene in Dark Souls 3. And so the fact that they tossed in a free DLC for the arenas and all this stuff, this is a game that I can't put down. I keep going back to it. And again, I'm afraid of finishing this game because I love it so much. So I just keep making characters. So my save files are like hours and hours of new characters. So just a brilliant game. If you haven't checked it out, please do.
You have an obsession with this game.
Can you really not change the difficulty settings? Was that a joke?
There is no
Yeah.
change. So the change in difficulty settings,
No.
and they really improved this from some of the last ones. The last games used to be linear. If you sucked, it only got worse for you. Like, literally, you could only get
Are
worse.
the developers a bunch of a-holes or something? Like,
I mean-
those guys.
It is the
I- like,
no, Mark. Here,
I'm never gonna buy
explain
this
this.
game because, like, I
Mark,
like to
Mark.
enjoy games.
Mark. It is the epitome of get good. That's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's you get good or don't play. That's what it is.
So
Well, I guess-
the way that they made this easier, because there is like a sort of difficulty setting. They added these like NPCs that you can summon in the form of spirits. They made it like a million times easier to bring in friends who are higher level than you and can help you beat the bosses. And it's no longer linear. It's all entirely open world. So if you're struggling with a boss, just go somewhere else. Get a different weapon. Go fight a different boss. Shoot, you can skip most of the major parts of the story and just go around them. So yeah, they do have an easy mode, quote unquote.
And I have never heard more rhetoric about one game from this group than this game.
I have a soapbox. I have a literal.
It's not just
soapbox
you.
that
It's Zane and Rob. It's all of it. It's and I'm not mocking that. I'm just saying that's a testament to the game and what the creators behind this did. I think there's significant truth behind what you're saying here in the context of Infinity Gems. Zane, you're up.
Yeah, with all that said, my number one, it's also Elden Ring.
Wow.
So, yeah, just
Yeah.
yeah,
Would you
keep-
like to? And legitimately, would you
Yeah.
like to add anything that Jarrett missed?
No, Jarrett pretty much hit it, and yeah, for all the same reasons, because it's just like it's something that you can just keep going, and it doesn't hold your hand, but you can go wherever you want, you can play the game as you want, and you can feel yourself get better at the game as you play it. And there's something very satisfying of having a boss who just keeps handing you your rear end. You go somewhere else, get leveled up, and then you come back and beat that boss. There's something incredibly satisfying about that.
The first boss that
masochist.
you beat, well, I guess the first major boss that you beat, he's technically the second boss of the game. There's a dude at the end of the fight who just stomps on. Yeah, I'm actually. There's a dude who stomps on his like
Actually.
lifeless body and just like spits on him and trash talks him the whole time. That is all of us when we finally beat that boss. It's just like screw you, man. I hate you so much.
Yeah, a lot of collective hours in this group spent on that game, that's for sure. For me, number one was this snuck in the last week of 2022. My wife got me the Arcade 1-Up Pac-Man
wife.
Legacy 12-in-1 arcade
My
machine.
life.
My
Now
wife.
I have
My life.
This machine's awesome. I mean, I'm not gonna say the number. If you want to go look it up, you can. But I was surprised at how much cheaper this was than I thought it was gonna be. Um, Pac-Man obviously is great, but Galaga is one of my favorite games ever played. Love that game, but also Dig Dug's on there, and this has just been great. The craziest part about this machine has been my son has played it about 20 times more than I have, and I'm watching my 4-year-old develop some type of love for video games, which is very strange. So
He's trash at Dig Dug though.
okay.
I just want to throw that out there. He's really bad at it.
Zane's not just trashing the Infinity Bros. He's also trashing toddlers. Here we are.
I thought I just realized you did go downstairs with him the other day. Side note here, my son goes, Zane, would you like to come play Pac-Man with me? And Zane goes, yeah, I would. And so he looks at me and goes, do I have your permission to play it? And then Zane looks at me and goes, yeah, do I have your permission to play it? And I said, yes, you do. And Zane and him were down there for 30 minutes just playing. You just heard just tons of noise. Great machine.
I just imagine Zane just down there, get good, kid.
You can just see Zane just like, no, Tim, that's not how you do it at all.
Zane's just
go left.
Zane's just Tim's personal esports coach.
100%.
Yeah. He's like coming over, giving him lessons, and it's gonna be great.
I love this. He's really bad at Dig Dug. I love that.
That's amazing.
That actually might be my Infinity Gem of the year. That Zane just said that on this show.
That'll be next year. You just gotta remember.
That'll be next year's, yeah, for sure.
Clip it.
Mark, go ahead.
My number one was going with the boys to the Comic-Con.
Yeah, buddy.
Got to experience all the things we saw. Am I right?
Yeah, but
all the money I spent.
Yes, that was a treat watching Mark
spend money at Comic-Con. Yep.
Yeah,
and
it was a good
a
time.
little treat for the two guys that were with me. I finally inquired about the cost of that one thing.
Oh my!
So
I'm very excited.
Final
product. Very excited. Stay tuned, Infinity Bros Universe. This is a very exciting project. Very intriguing.
This is very inside.
For science.
Max is gonna
Max will adore
it. It has to do with me. There's something with me.
Can't wait for Max to see it. It's gonna be
you
brilliant.
poor unfortunate soul.
I'm throwing it away.
No, you won't.
Whatever it is, I'll throw it away.
Why would you get it?
No, well, even better.
The world will get it. It'll be art.
Gosh.
Art you can't throw away, Max.
No. Oh my
Art.
Don't worry about
Now I'm getting nervous. Now I'm getting nervous.
You meet and talk to a lot of vendors at these, Max, if you know.
It's
You
2
got to
hours,
one.
Mark. Can I just keep going? Can we keep going? Robbie,
Can we?
COVID,
I don't know. Can
COVID
we?
Mark is unleashed. My number one of the year, and it's been mentioned already, but Elden Ring. So my number one and number two are entirely Jarrett's fault.
Number one. That's crazy.
Elden Ring, or Jarrett sold Elden Ring to us so well that I went and bought this game, and I never buy games at full price. But Elden Ring finally was a game from software that all of us, I feel like there's a large section of people that always wanted to play the Souls games, but knew they weren't good enough to play them, and I am 100% in that camp. Me and Isaac, 100% in
Very
that
much
camp.
so, yeah. Absolutely.
But Jared explaining Elden Ring to me, I was like, I think I can try this game, and I had to go into it understanding that I'm going to die a crap ton. But I went in, I played as a sorcerer, and that's as close as you can get to easy mode, Mark, is by playing a sorcerer. So loved Elden Ring, put way too much time into that game. I didn't see my kids for 3 weeks. That game was very dangerous to my personal life. And for that reason, it is my number one Infinity Gem of the year.
Isaac.
My number one Infinity Gem is somewhat related to Max's. So my 6-year-old daughter, Svea, she started playing video games this year. And my Infinity Gem has been just playing video games with my daughter. She got her first Fortnite win, her first Fall Guys win. Like she's like a freaking like
She is better than
She's
you.
a genius. Like, she's gonna be a lot better than me at video games.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, I can still beat her, but she's 6 years old. So like, it's coming very soon that she'll be able to beat me in video games. She's actually like, so one of her favorite games is Sonic Racing. She can legitimately beat me 50% of the time in Sonic Racing right now. So those skills will probably transfer over to Mario Kart eventually. And when she starts beating me consistently at Mario Kart, then it's like it's game over for me. So
This is good to hear because I need her to start doing the quick time events in the Dark Pictures games.
You're totally
just-
right. I should sub her
really
in.
been-
All right. Oh,
you've
quick time,
held
quick
it
time.
down.
Svea, come here. Yeah, I totally need her to sub in for those for sure.
I just imagine when she beats you finally, she like stands over you like
the
Daredevil, and he's like,
I beat you. I beat you.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do the Dark Knight bit. I thought you were gonna be.
Yep.
Just
And
remember the one
just
person
to
who
speak to
beat you.
LJ,
Well, it's
she loves Sonic
Same
the
writer.
Hedgehog, and we got her Sonic Frontiers for Christmas. So she hasn't dove into that quite yet, but she's kind of dabbled a little bit. She's a little gamer and probably a little Isaac. Like back when I was, I don't know, like middle school Isaac, I would like freak out if I had a losing season in Madden and just like cry. Like I would be just pissed, rage quitting, all the things. And she,
How do you ever lose in those games? When I was a kid, if I was losing, I would just quit the game.
because I like to play on all Madden because I don't know, I like to hurt myself, I guess. But anyway, she will.
Can I encourage?
She will
Elden Ring?
quit the game before the game over screen comes up. She'll be like, "Nope, not gonna see that game over screen. Quit, get out of there, play a different game right now." And I'm like, "Wow, okay, we got some rage quitting tendencies right now." So, anyways, but it's been a blast of a year playing video games with my daughter, and I can't wait till she starts beating me at games, which is coming very soon.
Garrett, go ahead.
We talked about our TV shows already, so I just wanted to add this real quick. If you guys are fans of Sonic, you should check out the not Amazon Prime, the Netflix series,
Dude,
Sonic Prime. It's really
so
good.
It's so
Solid
good.
show.
I was
Solid
surprised. Yeah,
It didn't make my list, but I figured I'd give it a shout out.
I'm surprised. Bluey
Also,
didn't make
I
the
want
list
to
either.
I also want to commend LJ that he spells Zane Zane, which is not the way that Zane spells it, but that's a quick way to frustrate Zane. So great job, LJ.
Thank you.
This is not me mocking you. This is me celebrating you.
LJ's middle
we
name
all
must
are.
be Robbie.
Oh wow. Well, here
That's
we are.
great. That's a good one. Man. Really got me.
You're really funny, Zane. Here we
Got
go.
him.
All right, finally,
You got me.
we're
Time
already
out,
at 2
time out,
hours. Why
time
not
out,
add another
time out.
hour?
We
Here
gotta
go.
do the giveaway first before this. We're gonna
Yeah, we
close
gotta
that.
do
that
11
giveaway
o'clock.
quick. Draw a winner. Boom!
What are we giving
Space Hawk.
away?
Space Hawk won
Attaboy.
the anime Funko
Hawk.
Pops. That those that
Nice.
are yours, Mark. So
Alright.
we are going
might
to.
be a bit before I get back to the farm.
That's fine.
To get
That's fine.
those.
I'm sure.
Space
I'm
Hawk
sure Caleb
understands.
will be.
He's won
just
something
fine.
before. Yeah.
Hold the line, Space
Oh.
Hawk. It will come.
All right, so next giveaway, I'm gonna get it up here,
Early
and as
12
soon as it does show up in chat, make sure you guys join !! Enter. It's going to be an Infinity Bros baseball cap, right here. So, and Robbie's and Zane are both wearing theirs. We're giving one away.
Flat bill
So
guy, Zane's a-
Zane's got
Are
a
we giving
flex
away?
fit.
Are we giving away yours or the one Robbie or Zane's wearing?
No, it's a brand spanking new one.
Mine's
Not
getting
even,
dirty.
It
I
doesn't
could
even
take a
have.
new one.
It doesn't even have Zane's sweat on it. Like it's
Just
brand
don't
new.
let it take 6 months. Is there a story behind that?
No, probably not. No, I don't
Probably
think
not.
there is. Yeah. Anyways, when you see that in chat,
We're
go
not
ahead
giving
and
away a
enter.
computer. That's different.
All right. Anyways,
That-
Bob Kane.
giving away a computer
Wow.
takes 6
Speaking of bad things, Bob Kane Awards.
The Bob Canes,
Good segue.
as affectionately named by Robbie.
Wow.
Thank you, Robbie, for this. We're gonna
welcome.
we're gonna do the same thing. These are our worst moments, or the moments that frustrated us the most this year. We're gonna start with Isaac at number 6.
Oh, okay. All right. Number 6, I have Zane. This is an apology on my part. My number 6 is we didn't get to play the newest Dark Pictures game during October, and I was really sad about that. So I'm really hoping we can plan a time to do that soon because that game has been out for like 3 months now
Oh,
already, and I haven't even bought it yet. So We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, Zane. I promise. We'll get around to it. But that was I really look forward to Spooktober and like playing spooky games on stream. But this year, I think we only got like one
it wasn't
Friday
much.
the 13th stream in. So I was really bummed about that. And it's just scheduling. Like, is nobody's fault. Like, we couldn't make it happen. So that was a bummer. That was my number 6.
Robbie.
My number six is a recent show. It's The Witcher Blood Origins. And it's not so much the show itself, but it's Netflix deciding to only make it a 4-part series. I love The Witcher and all that entails, and Blood Origins is kind of the origination of the original Witcher. But it plays out kind of like a really fast D&D campaign, and it's not a terrible show, but it's just not very good. And if they would have extended it and made it an actual 8 or 10 episode series, I think it could have been a really, really good show. So I am disappointed that Netflix decided to only make it a 4-part show.
Mark.
My number 6 is Morbius.
I'm surprised that didn't make your top 6, but here we are.
It wasn't that good.
It's a good point. It's good. It's a
It
valid
was
point.
almost a disappointment.
Thanks, Mark.
And then became a Bob Kane.
Yep, thank you, Mark. Number
So
6 for
Morbius
me.
has Jared Leto and the guy from House of the Dragon.
The guy from House of the Dragon. Gosh. I wonder if-
Number 6.
Do you think Matt Smith would be really disappointed to be to be described as the guy from guy from Morbius?
Can we just talk about
is
Can we just talk about Max's face whenever a pod goes over an hour and a half, and she's just like, can
He's
we?
just like,
hurry
I know. I've
this
trained
crap up?
myself to be frustrated past 90 minutes. I'm not editing this one, but I'm like,
We used to do 2.5
Max is
hour
dying
podcasts all the
I know.
time. And then you have like a young life kid and
Isaac
Elliot tell you that it
and-
has to be under an hour, and then all of a sudden we're doing stuff under 90 minutes.
And Max,
No.
you were the one early on.
I know. I thought early on that the long podcast was the
podcast.
thing, and it is. No,
No,
it's not.
no,
This dude listens.
no.
Okay, for the record, this dude actively listens to and encouraged us to listen to like a 6 to 8 hour podcast.
Yeah,
I
so
do.
like
I love
STFU
it.
Max.
Yeah,
Takes me a
absolutely
week. Takes me a week to listen to it. I love it. That's what I love about
terrible chore. Moving on.
it. When you do chores or drive places,
Hey,
it's nice to have a long podcast.
Robbie, it's your turn.
No, Robbie,
No,
wait.
I
it's
already-
my turn.
I already went.
You
Oh, my
literally,
bad.
yeah. Anyway, my number 6
That's
is
very
Miss
bad.
Marvel.
Oops.
That show was
Oops.
awful, and I didn't like it, and it's the worst Marvel property ever made on TV on screen.
Imagine
And
being this
Wow.
wrong.
Gasp.
Worse
Wait,
than-
You wake up-
wait. Worst Marvel
No, it's a-
property ever made, like including movies and stuff?
the
Like everything?
MCU so far. There's been some pretty bad ones, including Morbius, but I'll say MCU.
MCU. Okay.
I wouldn't say it's worse than. I wouldn't
that's
say
still
it's
pretty-
worse.
that's
Well,
than
the
still
MCU is
pretty-
pretty broad with the Spider-Man movies. That means like anything's on
Worse
on the
than
table.
Captain Marvel?
Yeah, that's
Worse
Zane,
than
go
the
ahead.
Eternals.
Wait, is it Eternals or the Eternals?
This dude just said he'd rather watch Thor: The Dark World than Miss Marvel.
1,000. Oh no, I'll double down on that. I know I'd rather watch Thor: The Dark World than.
I would actually probably echo that. I watched 2
No.
episodes
Marvel
of
was
Miss Marvel and decided I would never watch
Miss
the
Marvel
rest of it.
was trash.
Whatever I missed out at the end of Miss Marvel, I don't care. I'm over it.
Yeah,
It's
I
episode 1, and
I
after
actually
that,
said
we're
that in the
good.
last episode, Robbie. You haven't finished Miss Marvel yet, right?
Nope, probably not
Probably
going
won't
to.
ever.
No need to. You're good.
No.
Watch the post-credit scene in the last episode. You're good to go for the Marvels.
Is Captain Marvel in it?
I can't say. That would be
You can-
spoiling it.
Okay, I'm good then. I'm good.
Zane, go ahead.
All right, for context, I literally just made this list like while we were doing this show.
No.
so-
We know.
You?
I mean, that's how you've been going this whole time, haven't you?
we know.
All right.
Aw, no, you
We
didn't.
know.
I don't
All right.
believe you, silly goose.
My number 6 is Max thinking Sleepless in Seattle is the best rom-com of all time.
It is. It's the greatest
It's
of all
not.
time.
We
It
can-
is.
It's not. It's not.
Hey Isaac,
Okay,
hey Isaac,
we-
hey Isaac,
we need
hey Isaac,
inputs.
Isaac,
Chat.
you can end the podcast now. You can just
And
That's
we're
it.
done.
We're
We're
done.
done.
We're done.
We're
it.
done. We're
We're
done.
done.
There it is.
Chat,
I'm
let
Hank.
us know
That was
what
the
the
key
best
Ryan.
rom-com of all time is. That's been a running
It's Sleepless in
discussion in the Infinity
Sleepless in
Bros
Seattle isn't even a top
chat,
5.
so.
Seattle. Yeah, well, it is. So
It's just like your opinion.
It's like your opinion, man.
Just like your
Smells
opinion,
like
man.
Up Dog in here. Your turn, Jarrett.
Zane, I love you. My number 6 is Max thinking Sleepless in Seattle.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that's impressive that you guys are on the same wavelength. So Zane definitely copied
Wow.
Jarrett's paper there, right? Though, like, I mean,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
yeah.
We talked about this in chat. I was like, this dude's an idiot. He's wrong. He's wrong in every way.
No, I'm not. It's the best rom-com ever made. It's Sleepless in Seattle.
Fair enough.
Oh my gosh.
I hold the line on that. I'm not backing down on that.
Hey, someone's gotta.
Yeah,
So-
apparently.
I will say
Someone's
it
gotta be
is a
wrong.
classic and it deserves to be in the conversation. But like, if you're taking the movie for itself, it's no. It's
Yeah, this dude's clearly never seen Crazy Stupid Love. And like, I forgive you
like
for
Crazy
that.
Stupid Love. It's on the
I
list.
forgive you that for like I fully forgive you for that, Max.
No, I've seen the movie.
Have you though?
I have.
Clearly.
Crazy
I
Stupid
imagine
Love
Max is.
Crazy Stupid
I
Love.
imagine Max is a big rom-com guy.
And
Crazy
like,
Stupid Love has
Max, can I turn you onto the? Okay, there's another movie. It's called Always Be
know.
My Maybe.
Yes,
You should
Mark
really check
it.
it
I
out. It's
said
really
it's one of
good.
the best rom-coms ever made. We said that on a podcast.
Debatable.
Said that.
Is there proof? I don't know.
Yeah, there's literally video, audio.
That was
proof.
before I
Alright,
knew.
show it to me.
Which one he thought was top.
Okay, all right.
What's next?
I just
Okay,
derailed us. We're
continue
going
this
another
list.
hour, boys.
Isaac, go ahead. You're number 5. Here we go.
My number 5 is Halo. It wasn't. I struggled with this list. This is the list that I struggled with. I don't think I hated a lot of content that I consumed this year, and I honestly didn't hate Halo, but it was definitely a disappointment. Like, and Robbie probably will speak more to this, I'm sure. But man, it was definitely not what a lot of people were hoping it would be. So yeah, that's my number 5.
Robbie.
My number 5 is Morbius. I don't need to expand on that. It's just Morbius. Bob Kane.
Mark.
Westworld. What?
Ooh, that's a
That's a
great
great
answer.
That's a
what a
great
fall
pick.
from grace from like
What a
top,
great pick.
top tier season
Yeah.
1, pretty good season 2, and
Yep.
then 3 to 4 you're just like,
Oh.
we'll focus.
Well,
Hopefully they'll just fire
Isaac,
us.
Isaac, do you have the past StanLees?
Yeah,
Because
they're
I
on
want to
YouTube.
say Westworld. I want to say Westworld won a StanLee back in the day,
Probably.
and for it to fall to a Bob Kane is it's pretty
That's
pretty sad.
rough.
Dude,
And it's
it
you're
is
100%.
insane.
You're
The
spot
fall is
on.
insane.
You are spot on, Mark.
Yeah.
You're spot on.
It's a great pick, Mark. Okay, my turn. Number 5 for me was the Black Adam post-credit scene. Have never been more excited for something, and then days later, it was torn away from me.
Asunder.
We have Mark and I pontificated about that with Scott Higa on our Black Adam review. At the time, I think it gave me a little better outlook on the movie, and then for that to be taken away just makes Black Adam trend towards how Robbie feels. So yeah, Black Adam. But the
I-
post
that
credit
was
scene in
belief.
particular was brutal.
trash.
Zane.
That was the
Black
belief
Adam
that
and
he
I'm
did that on
trash.
purpose to thwart James Gunn and the other guys.
I think there's a chance.
You know what? You know what would have helped thwart them getting rid of Black Adam? Making a good movie. That probably would have helped.
Got him.
Got him.
Zane, go ahead.
All right, so my number 5 was this anime that I stumbled across on Netflix, and I want so much to like it, but I can't. So the anime is called Bastard Heavy Metal Dark Fantasy, and I want to like it because it's all based on heavy metal, and it's so cool. And like that's just the genre of music I like to hear. Like, and there's so much that's so cool about it. Of how like the kingdom that they live in is Metallicana. So it's and then like the ancient god they're trying to
Creative.
resurrect is Anthrax. So it's like based on Anthrax. Like so it's all based on old like metal bands. But like they go
Deathlock, but
yeah, and
medieval.
but they go.
Interesting.
And it's a really cool concept, but they go way too anime with it and make it way too fan service. And you watch it and you're like, if they wouldn't have done half the stuff they do, this could have been a decent show.
They must have just pushed that away because I've never even seen that on like my suggested stuff, and I have a bunch of random animes on there.
I'm more interested.
I've never even seen it.
Yeah,
I am kind of too. I want to try.
Is it bad that you just sold that show, Zane? You like kind of sold.
Well, no,
that.
because that's what I'm saying. Like that's the selling point. But then you get to the other stuff, and you're just like, dude, I'm really
bad.
right. Like there's so much cool stuff, but then the bad stuff is just so bad, and you're just like,
That's how this is totally. It's kind of in the same realm, but that's how I feel about Batman Ninja. Like that's a movie that like it has everything I want, but it's just done so poorly that I just. Yeah, that it's just bad. It's like it's what I want, but it's also not what I want at all.
Exactly.
It's I feel that.
Here at number 5.
My 5 this year was also Halo. This was a series that I was super excited for, and I could not finish it. Like I know everybody's like, "Oh, it gets better." I could not suffer through this to enjoy it at all. I thought it was
like
garbage.
mildly better, but like not enough to really keep watching.
It was so bad. And so that one sucked because that's a video game series that like I absolutely adore, and I thought would make a perfect TV series, and it just was so stupid.
Sad.
Bad. Isaac, number 4.
My number 4 is kind of a broad stroke, but the last part of Marvel Phase 4 is really is what this is. Like it just like we had so much hype coming into it, and they came out with so many properties that we thought were going to be amazing and just really did not live up to the hype. So that it's just really disappointing. More so, like I don't think I rated a Marvel property this year under 4. I think Miss Marvel I rated a 4. That was my lowest one. But still, like, man, just all of the cool stuff that we thought was going to happen just did not pan out. None of the Disney Plus shows really panned out. I mean, She-Hulk was the best of them, but even that one, I didn't live up to its potential in my eyes. And just, it was just kind of disappointing overall. It's just like a balloon kind of deflated in the MCU. So that's my number 4.
Robbie.
My number 4 is Chris Pratt's voice in Mario. Wow. The trailers look so amazing, and it looks like exactly what we want from a Mario movie. But then you hear Chris Pratt try to do the wahoo, and it's just like, dude, this is bad. Like, and it might still turn out to be an okay movie, but Chris Pratt being picked for that voice, that's I'm not a fan of it.
It's an interesting choice for sure.
Maybe I'll eat crow eventually. Maybe the movie will come out and it'll be better. But so far I am very unimpressed, and I'm worried that we're gonna get another bad video game adaptation.
Mark.
My number 4 is if you guys remember when the What If series came out with the comic, not the TV show, with Miles Morales as Thor. Does anyone remember?
Yeah.
The story behind
that was rough.
That was
horrible.
I forgot.
I forgot that was this year.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That was
like I went out and got it just for the sole fact of how horrible, like, you know, like the writing for that character was for that, and how, like, anyways. So you guys if you don't know that story, folks on Twitch, you gotta go look it up.
Crazy.
It's wild.
Crazy. But yeah. That's my
For me, number 4 was Morbius, and Mark rating it a 3 out of 6 on our podcast. I cannot believe you rated it a 3 out of 6.
Wow.
It was a movie.
I'm convinced that you
That's
can't
the bar.
rate something lower.
There are
that's an
much
opinion.
worse movies than Morbius that exist. Like, I'll give you that. There are a lot of movies that are worse than Morbius.
Yeah, because like I told you, I've just seen so many movies. My terrible scale is just...
I'm just going to tell you, I don't think you're capable of rating something lower than a 3. I've come to that conclusion.
Well,
I don't think you're
you're
capable of it.
He does
And I just
random
think
stuff that kind of throws you off. You're like, "Oh, you rated that?"
Yeah,
A 2 for
I
some
just
reason?
don't.
I don't know. Okay.
Don't get how you walked
Sorry,
out of
my
that one.
heart isn't as black as yours. It just
Okay.
isn't.
Right.
Oh my.
All right.
Jeez,
That's the
I'm
problem.
2023 mark post-COVID meme.
Here we go. All
Pains,
right.
man.
Here we go.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Zane, go ahead.
My number 4 is how they decided to end everything in Halloween Ends. I don't know how you take the characters of Michael Myers and all that and end the story how they did. So that gets a Bob Kane for me because I thought that was a terrible way to end all of that.
You were really pumped for that movie too.
Yeah, that was a huge letdown. I'm with you,
It was
Zane,
a
on that.
huge letdown.
Yeah, you were really pumped
Was-
about that.
Was the movie outside of the ending okay?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But
So
like,
Mark would
that
give it
movie-
like a 5.5.
No, dude,
it was a movie.
It was
It
better
was a
than
movie, but it was
Morbius.
meh as a movie.
movie
so it's
existed.
Better
bad.
than Morbius.
The movie existed.
It'd be like a 3.5 out of 6.
I love Mark's scale.
Jared, go ahead. Yeah, screw Mark scale. Jared, go ahead.
Yeah, screw me.
Are we on? We're on number 4.
Yes.
Okay, Book of Boba Fett. I was so freaking hyped for this, and I think we were spoiled by Mandalorian. And Boba Fett is an OG. Like, we love this character. We've been ingrained in this character. This was like my favorite Star Wars character when I was a little kid, right? Because he had the cool armor, and he was like this mysterious, like, space bounty hunter. And we got like weird flip spin tricks and no story at all, and like terrible writing, and just so stupid. Like, so stupid. My dad asked me, he's like, I didn't catch it, should I go back and rewatch it? And I was like, it will ruin your opinion on Star Wars TV shows. And like, there are so many good ones out there. Just ignore it. Doesn't exist. There was no Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, Power Ranger motorcycles. Weird like Vespa motorcycles. Gosh, that was horrible.
Wow. We're getting passionate. Here we go. Isaac, number 3.
My number 3 is actually Book of Boba Fett as well. And that's, again, I think I rated Book of Boba Fett, again, probably a 3.5 or a 4 out of 6. Like, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, and there are a lot of cool things about it, but the level of hype that I was at, man, that show underdelivered so badly. Like, everybody was so pumped about Boba Fett, like he's a Star Wars legend, and man, this show did not do him any favors, unfortunately. So I think it was just very disappointing for everybody involved. I think that the show did not do as well as that we hoped it would. So yeah, Book of Boba Fett is my number 3.
Robbie.
Mine is Thor: Love and Thunder, but more importantly, the fact that they made a subpar movie, in my opinion, wasted Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher. When you get a Christian Bale, you should use him for a long period of time. And they decided to completely waste his acting on a movie that was just mid, in my opinion. So that was a very big letdown for me. Thor Love and Thunder I was very excited for that movie, and it just didn't deliver, and it gets a Bob Kane for me, mostly because of wasting Christian Bale.
Mark, good follow-up. You're up.
My number 3 is everything Robbie just said. I'm kidding. That'll be next.
That was a good one.
My number 3 is Tom Hanks's Pinocchio. That movie sucked.
It looks
Almost
bad.
said bad
I
word.
haven't watched it, but
I
it
heard
looks bad.
terrible
1 out of
things
6.
about that movie.
I will say you
I-
right out the gate were like 1 out of 6. Don't even touch this.
I wanted
Really?
to drop kick my TV watching that, and I was like, I can't. I can't.
Have you
afford
watched?
TV right
Have
now.
you watched Netflix's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio?
No, I
That
haven't
one's
yet,
actually
and
not
I want
bad.
to.
That one,
That
I
is
was listening.
that's a
I
5 out of
enjoyed that
I
one.
think
6.
Scott had watched it. Yeah.
That's a
I wanna
5
watch
out of
it.
6.
Is it
for me.
good?
That
5 out of 6?
movie is
Alright.
good. Yeah.
Anything
Very
stop
good.
motion for me, it's like I gotta go watch it. So like,
Yeah,
that
and
really
you
sold
definitely
on
check
it.
that
will
one out.
you
That
will
one's pretty
cry.
good.
You like you will cry as a new father. You're gonna cry.
I already cry a lot anyways.
Number 3 for me is Spider-Man not receiving an Oscar nomination this year for Best Picture. I don't think it should have won, but I think No Way Home deserved the opportunity to go to the Oscars and be represented in that category. It was a weaker film year. I believe it was Kevin Smith even said that it was a travesty that that movie didn't get nominated. That movie was like everyone was talking about it. It was
Brought everyone back to
cinematic.
the theaters.
What?
It brought everyone back to the theaters.
It did. It brought everybody back to the theaters. I think it deserved a nomination, and then obviously we know at the Oscars what Will Smith did later too. But I think I think the Spider-Man not receiving an Oscar thing was a huge letdown, and I think the Academy can't be taken seriously when it doesn't do things like that. So that's my number 3. Zane, you're up.
All right, my number 3, it's kind of a broad stroke, but also a specific example. So recently, I really got into a show on Netflix called 1899. If you guys haven't watched it, super intriguing, very like thought-provoking. But Netflix, as Netflix does, cancels it after 1 season. So the broad stroke is Netflix loves to cancel stuff after 1 season, and then that specific example is the fact that they canceled 1899 after 1 season. And it was like, this is such a good show. It has those Lost type vibes to it. Very interesting. And then they're like, we're just going to cancel it. So that gets to number 3.
Why'd they cancel it? Like, it costs too much to make or not enough?
I don't know.
people
Like,
watching
it literally just came out like last week or 2 weeks ago that they aren't going to make a season 2. And this show is only a couple months old.
I
Yeah, that
haven't
just
seen
came
it,
out
but
last
people are
week.
mad
It said
about
they were
this on
canceling.
Twitter.
Oh yeah, I am upset about it too. It is a very interesting idea and premise for a show, and they just they
will
can't
say-
say.
away.
I will
Yep.
say, Zane, that I tried that, and the description of the show didn't match what the show was when I started. Just hearing you say that it was really good makes me want to go back and try it.
Yeah, stick with
But,
it. Like stick with
Yeah,
it.
the
But that's
description
what-
just didn't match what I was expecting. So I was like, what is this?
Question, Zane,
Um,
then from that,
But now I'm more interested.
from what Robbie's saying and what you're saying, if this isn't coming back, is this even worth investing in, knowing that the season's
So-
going to end in a specific way?
That's a good point. Yeah.
So they end kind of like how season 1 ends. Like you can end that story there, but they definitely leave stuff where you could go into a season 2 and you want a season 2, but it's not like an absolute slap in the face ending season 1 how it ends. So it still more or less finishes the story, but you know that they've planted seeds for further further seasons. So a lot of people are clamoring, hoping someone else maybe picks this up and keeps going with the story. So it is worth still watching through to kind of get the main story arcs wrapped up. But like, there's still a lot of stuff that you're gonna be like, there's way more you can tell here.
Good to know. That's great feedback.
It's very good to know. Yeah.
Jarrett, number 3.
My number 3 is Magic celebrated their 30th anniversary this year. And
Oh
it was
no,
hyped up-
Jarrett!
Yeah,
Jarrett, body
yeah.
them. Just body them.
It was hyped
Goodness.
up to be like, it's exactly what it sounds like, right? 30 years of celebrating this community and this culture that surrounded this game. And it was like the most disgusting, degenerate cash grab I have ever seen. So the big thing was like, they had a Magic 30 event. It was poorly ran. Everything cost like disgusting amounts of money to get into. You had to pay to get in the door to this event. And the tickets were not cheap. It was like $300 for the weekend. You had to pay to get table space to play Magic at the Magic event. They had a bunch of these different tournaments and stuff, including like cosplay tournaments and whatnot. There was no prize support that tore them apart. But the original prize support for the like cosplay tournament was a $50 gift card to Michael's. I'm not joking. And this is
Wow.
their 30-year anniversary event, right?
Can you get
And-
magic cards at Michael's?
No, it's for the
No.
it's like
for the cosplayers.
It was so dumb. And then they're like, all right, well, obviously like we screwed up here. What we're going to do, and they did 2 things. They released the Magic 30 like packs, right? They're proxies. They are unplayable cards. You cannot legally play them. And the packs sell for $250 a pop. You cannot use these cards at all. They're completely illegal to use. The second thing that they did is they did a countdown celebration like calendar thing where you got a card as part of this advent calendar leading up to Christmas, which was sweet in theory, right? They immediately shut it down after they started it up. They're like, all right, we'll release a couple packs. And then they claimed that they sold out, which wasn't true.
No.
And just lied about it. So the whole thing was just like this filthy, disgusting cash grab. And like a lot of big name, like enfranchised Magic players, like people who draw the big crowds, just quit. They're like, I'm tired of this. You guys are clearly more interested in money than you are your fan base. It was horrible.
Jared, can I also hit on that? This is also a year that Magic did a lot of really good things where they came out with a lot of really good sets. The problem is they went the Pokemon route and they came out with way too many sets for a game that isn't played that way.
They're releasing,
It's my brother is my brother is also a big Magic gamer, and he has given up on Magic the last like 3 months because he's like, I can't afford this. This isn't what Magic is for. And I thought the packs were $1,000.
Okay, so originally they were $1,000, and then nobody was buying them. Nobody was buying.
Well, but you need to hit on that. The packs, Isaac, were $1,000. And no one bought them.
That's bonkers.
So think about this, right? Because like it's not guaranteed that you would pull one of these cards because there were like Black Lotuses and stuff.
You want the Black Lotus? Yeah.
Again, they're like illegal and unplayable, so it's not a real Black Lotus. It's just a card that looks like a Black Lotus. But like your chance of pulling those, I mean, they had this like simulator on one of the websites that somebody put up where they're like, all right, just so you want to see like what your odds of winning this are, you'd have to spend like, in some cases like $5,000-$6,000 before you saw even a return on your first pack. It was insane. It was absolutely wild.
It's like the McDonald's Monopoly.
Yeah.
Not gonna do.
No, you had better chances with McDonald's Monopoly.
Yeah, I was getting a sandwich, maybe.
Actually, you had no chance.
You had no chance of getting the actual money.
The documentary, you had no chance of winning the money.
Oh yeah, the documentary that was a good show.
That was wild.
I mean, it was good for like a breakfast sandwich once in a while.
Yeah, good point. Magic 30, worse than getting a breakfast sandwich.
Absolute trash.
McDonald's Monopoly.
Sorry, Max. We talked about things that we enjoy.
No,
I didn't enjoy.
I'm just not interrupting. I'm letting you do your thing. McDonald's Monopoly. That's what we're talking about. Things we enjoy. McDonald's Monopoly. Isaac, number 2.
My number 2 is Morbius. Man, Jared Leto talked this up so much for being so bad. The one thing I will say about it, though, is it's one of those movies that it's fun to make fun of. Like, you can watch it and still have fun, like, making fun of how bad it is. There are some movies out there that you can't, which my number 1 is. So, yeah, anyways, Morbius is pretty bad.
Robbie.
My number 2, right? We're at number 2. My number 2 is the Halo series. No surprise, it was trash. I don't know if there's a show I was more excited for going into, and then was let down more than this show. It was what I was. The trailer was what I hoped a Halo show would be, and it got my hopes so high that I was like, "There's no way this is going to fail." And by episode 2. I was already let down, and I was like, this is not the Halo I love. This is not the Halo I grew up with. And it just got worse and worse. Isaac is somewhat right. By somewhere a little after the middle, there was an okay episode or 2. And then they decided to make it just even worse than it was before. And how they ended it was just terrible. And it's a huge letdown. Paramount Plus had their ticket to like getting people on their platform, and they decided to just wash it straight down the drain. A huge disappointment. Extremely sad on my part for what they did to the Halo series.
Agreed.
Okay, Mark.
My number 2.
Mark's like falling asleep in his chair there.
is someone by the name of Max Moser saying that Sleepless in Seattle is the #1 rom-com ever. So.
There it is.
And there it is
Absolutely brilliant.
again.
It is.
All right.
It's the greatest rom-com of all time.
Well,
Number
it's my
two.
Number 2 Bobcat.
Okay, good. Number 2 for me is DCU transitions. DCU is a clown show. I thought they were in good hands with Alan Horn, and even Alan Horn couldn't save this mess. From Black Adam to Joker 2 being announced as a musical, and then the Flash. And I know Robbie has talked about this a lot. The fact that the Flash is the one that they're sticking with, even with Ezra Miller, it's just doesn't make any sense.
Hey,
the last
it's gotten
week,
good reviews out there. It's
the
gonna
last
be really good.
couple weeks, we've also heard news that there might be a chance they might stick with Ezra Miller. Like
No,
the fact
they're not.
that that's even a thing is like, why is this being talked about? Like, what the heck?
Remember, Peacemaker had 2 guys at the end from the I almost said the Avengers from the Justice League, and it
From
was
the Avengers.
It was Aquaman and the Flash.
And they were making jokes about Aquaman having sex with fish.
They were making the boys jokes, is what they were doing.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. Okay, Zine.
Number 2, Morbius, for all reasons stated previously.
You saw Morbius?
It's
It was on Netflix, dude.
Oh,
It's-
dumb.
Yeah.
I didn't
That's
go
the
see it
only-
in the theater.
That's
There's
the only
zero
reason
chance
anyone saw
I
it.
spent
I
money
was
on
gonna
that.
say, like you sat down and watched this on Netflix.
You gotta watch it to see how bad it is.
It's just brutal.
That's
man.
why
a
you
train
watch
wreck.
that movie. You
It
watch
is
that movie to
brutal.
see how
Again,
bad it is.
it's
brutal,
kind
man.
of
That's
kind
why
of a
we
fun
all
movie
watch
to make fun of.
Fantastic. Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
that time we all went down and sat down and watched The Room. Like, it's if you got together with friends, Morbius would be a fun
The Room
movie
is
to
great.
trash.
Room is
Like-
way more fun to watch.
The Room's way more fun.
Maybe we should
Which
watch
is
this
less?
group watching
Wait.
Morbius.
Which is less fun to watch, Fantastic or Morbius?
No, here's the real
Fantastic
question.
by
Ooh.
4. I had
Robbie,
more
here's
fun
the real
watching
question:
Morbius
who
for sure.
who hyped up their movie more, The Rock for Black Adam, or Jared Leto for Morbius?
I will
The Rock
touch on
for
this on
sure.
my.
The Rock,
I'll
yeah,
touch
The
on
Rock
this on
Just
my
from
number
all
one.
you're
his
just
movies.
taking the quantity of time that
I'll
he did
touch
it
on
for?
this on my
Yeah.
number one. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Okay, all right. Sorry, let's keep going. Jared, go ahead, so we can get back to Robbie real quick.
Yeah, my number 2 is Ezra Miller. Like,
Good.
just
Yeah.
Ezra Miller.
Perfect timing.
There it
sucks.
is. General.
I mean, if he full on like kidnapped an indigenous girl. Like,
Ezra
Miller is hacking his microphone.
Ezra Miller is clearly watching the Twitch and hacking his mic.
oh my
We
gosh.
lost you, Jared.
We lost you.
for
We
a bit
lost
there,
you a little
Jared.
bit there, Jarrett.
Just everything Ezra Miller did. He kidnapped an indigenous girl. He committed several felonies. Just an absolute garbage human being.
He's nuts.
Agreed.
He's ballistic. Yeah. Isaac, number 1.
My number 1 is, I don't even know why this made me so mad, honestly, but it's National Treasure: Edge of History. You talk about things like bad things that are fun to watch. Morbius was that for me. Like, I still enjoyed watching that movie, even though it was garbage. I had zero fun watching National Treasure: Edge of History. Like, I suffered through the episode and a half that I endured, and I came in with low expectations. I knew this show was not going to be good, but it underperformed to my already very low expectations. Like, I had zero fun watching the show. And this again goes to show that I enjoyed most of the content that I watched or consumed this year. This is like maybe the one thing that I absolutely hated. So there you go. There it is.
Robbie, number 1.
Mine is a DC combo platter. We'll just start off with, hey, let's get rid of Henry Cavill, the man who was born to play Superman. That makes no sense. Why are we doing that? I don't know. And then the even worse part was how terrible Black Adam was. I have ripped this movie apart on previous podcast. You can go listen to those. I won't go into depth, but you spend a teenager's life, talking about how you're Black Adam and how you're going to reset the hierarchy of the DC universe to make the worst DC movie maybe since the first Suicide Squad. I don't remember if it was the one or not.
The one
But
that
just
won an Academy Award.
Yeah, the one that has more Academy Awards than most Marvel films. That Black Adam was so bad, and The Rock sometimes I think tries in movies to be a different guy. In this movie, he was just like, "No, I think I'm just gonna Dwayne Johnson it.
I'm
And he
just The Rock.
I'm just The Rock, but I'm
Well, if he
wearing
was
a
The
Black
Rock, it'd be
Adam
more
costume."
exciting.
He would be if he was The Rock. Yeah, no, that's right. He
Mark,
played
don't
Dwayne
you
Johnson.
dare!
He did-
Don't you dare! You
he-
said he was
No,
fine.
no,
in
no.
the
He's
movie.
right. Okay, but what he
At the
just said
time
makes
of
I said he was
recording, Mark
fine.
said the
I said
acting
it
was
was fine,
fine.
but I
from
said
him.
he'd be better if he played him as The Rock.
Stop.
That's
He
literally what
was-
I was
Wasn't that the
saying.
worry
and
that
then you
everybody
wanted
was
to just
saying?
yell at
Absolute
me.
trash.
I'm not yelling at you. You
I'm
were there.
so
Oh,
I'm just so disappointed in what that movie turned into be. There's things that I enjoyed. Like there's things about the JSA that I really enjoy. But outside of that, I'm beyond disappointed in what the Black Adam was. And on top of that, instead of waiting for this movie to come to HBO Max, I decided to buy it on Amazon. So now for $25, I own a movie I loathe. And that's just where I am.
Love
because
that.
it wasn't announced that it was coming to HBO
the best
Max
part of the
until-
story.
Yeah, it wasn't announced that it was coming to HBO Max, so I spent my $25. I was like, I'm surely it can't be too bad. No, it's awful. It is terrible. I want my $25 back. Max, my dream is to have my $25 back. That's my dream.
So
It might
mad
be time for
for
me to
$25
reimburse you,
dream.
Robbie. It might be time for
That's
me to
my
reimburse
dream,
you.
Max, is that I get my $25 back for Black frickin' Adam. That's
He
my
got
dream.
so mad he turned into a leprechaun for like 2 seconds
Oh
there.
man, that was so good.
My $25.
I'm moving on.
Mark, you're number one. Robbie, I'm glad you got that off your chest. Go ahead,
I
Mark.
don't know if
Thank
my
you, thank
number
you,
one
thank you.
really follows the true mold of what the Bob Kane Award probably ensues, but it's my number one because it made me have all the emotions, and it's a combo of two things. It is the passing of Kevin Conroy and Jason David Frank. Their passings was like a little bit of my childhood just dying, and it got me so emotional, and I hated it, and that's my Bob Kane. Granted, it's like nothing we could have done, but still sad.
Conroy one especially was
Extremely sad. Extremely sad.
that felt a little more personal, given the video that we got for you. So yeah, that one was brutal. So all right, I'll transition back to being goofy after that, but we do honor that, and we're bummed about that. There was a couple of deaths this year that were just odd too. So for me, number one is this movie isn't worse than the other movies I've talked about, maybe, or other movies that have been referenced by others. But the disappointment I felt in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is pretty high.
That makes sense.
I
that makes sense.
walked away from that movie incredibly disappointed. I am a massive Doctor Strange fan. I feel like the multiverse is the direction they're going, and I think that's the appropriate direction to go. And I really feel like they blew this opportunity, and I think they're going to have to retell some things because of what Loki did and what they did. And honestly, I just from the third eye and how bad the CGI looked to the introduction of Clea wasn't really great. The scene, I mean, obviously Wanda just is not my favorite character in this universe. She's a great character and Elizabeth Olsen plays her well, but I just don't understand how people act around her. I don't understand how the MCU just continues to let her off the hook for what she does. And I just felt like all the bad things about Marvel were just present in this. It was not a well-written script. I think the director did a great job making the movie with his style. So I think if you're a fan of his, that's great. But I'm not an Evil Dead fan. Zane is. So it's going to be more of a win for a guy like Zane. So I just really am disappointed with this one. I think it was a huge bummer, and it made me question a lot of my Marvel Cinematic Universe fandom. So, yep, that's my answer.
Oh, and then
Zane.
WandaVision to this is just downhill since WandaVision.
No, I have been praising a lot of properties. She-Hulk in particular. She-Hulk in particular was the win this year.
From here.
So I can tell you're excited to come to the next Evil Dead movie with me, right, Max?
Not a chance am I going to the next Evil Dead movie. That trailer was wild.
All right, the number one for me, kind of broad strokes on this, but like when you go into something and the absolute vitriol you get on toxic side of fan bases, and the biggest examples that jumped out to me is for Rings of Power and for She-Hulk. The amount of people that came out and just hate, like, haven't even seen an episode, but just absolutely hating on stuff.
Yeah, review
or just
bombing
stuff from review
like
bombing or just
Yeah.
word of mouth stuff. Like, I get if you watch a show like what we've gone through, like with the Halo, like you watch it and it's like, hey, incredibly disappointed. I don't like the decisions you made. Absolutely. But like just piling on a show that you've never seen and just telling people you better not watch this show because it's the worst thing ever, and J.R.R. Tolkien would be rolling in his grave, but like it's just stop. Like you can
Dude, that-
say you
that-
don't like it,
dude.
that's fine.
And dwarves can't be people of color. That's it by
That
Right,
drives
like-
me insane. Zane, great.
like-
that's a great point, Zane.
Let people
Phenomenal.
watch it. If you don't like it, that's fine. But
'Cause
like
that's also
let
like the
everyone-
ridiculous thing. Like J.R.R. Tolkien just loved telling stories.
Right.
So I really don't
right.
think he would have been mad that they told more stories and just made up their own lore. He's probably happy that people
Right.
took his stuff and made more stories out of it.
Right. And again, like I said, I'm not saying that like you can't dislike something, but like don't get so toxic that you're demanding other people not like something because you don't like it. Like watch it for yourself, make your own opinions, and don't just hate on something because it's the popular thing to do or because that's what someone else said online. Like we're better than that.
Max. Yeah, Max. Okay, Mark. 3 out of 6 Morbius. Sounds good, Gutty. Zane, I'd add on to that too. Yeah, well, get a better rating system. Zane, I think
Good game,
you
too, Zane.
have touched a really great point too, because I think our podcast, just by looking at us from first glance, you maybe would think that our conclusion of those properties you're speaking on would be aligning with those individuals. But I feel this year we've had a blend of opinions on those subjects, but also I feel we've all had the universal understanding of, yeah, that's not the problem here, or no, that's actually a really good thing, and here's why that's a good thing on multiple properties. I'm not speaking to just one property when I say
Right.
that. And I think that's something that our show, I think, is better at than other shows, personally.
Right. Because
So I
that's
think
why
that
it's
makes-
Look at
important,
other shows.
right, to have the importance of having conversations about things and actually discussing stuff, not just seeing who can yell the loudest about something, even though, you know, sometimes that's what it comes down to with Max. But
Zing.
no, just
Yeah.
just talk about stuff. Like actually discuss things. You know, have different opinions. It's okay.
Jared, go ahead.
My number one is Jimmy, racist old man Cameron, and Way of the Water. If you guys haven't been paying attention to the news, James Cameron said some horrific things about Native people, and basically like kind of talked about how like he was like they were his inspiration, and in the same, literally the same paragraph that he's like absolutely destroying Native culture and saying horrible things, he's like, yeah, but they were the inspiration for the first Avatar movie. Just disgusting. Absolutely horrible human being. I don't know why people are supporting this movie. Everything that he's been doing since then is just
I mean, yeah, on our latest TikTok, people are it's like the Elon Musk thing. Like random dudes online are like jumping to defend James Cameron, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
The guy that the
Probably
comic,
un-American.
Mystic comic that commented on our TikTok today was like, no, it's about being one with the earth. And
he
understanding
literally
the profoundness of,
posted like
dude, is this
4
James
different
Cameron?
replies.
My goodness
It was like,
gracious.
bro,
To
It was
himself.
wild.
take a chill pill, man.
you think-
If you
Do you
give
think
you
that
the
was
quick-
actually Gina Carano?
yeah, that's what it was.
Probably.
She's
LJ
following us everywhere.
LJ, and for anyone who's interested, the quick and dirty was basically like, he basically said if these people, these Native Americans in the past, had seen what happened to Native Americans today, they would have just tried harder, right? Like the reason colonization and genocide and all this stuff happened is they just didn't try hard enough. And like, if Avatar was made back then, that was his inspiration. If Avatar was made back then, maybe they would have tried hard enough to not die. And I'm like,
So James is saying they would have
Holy.
gotten dragons to ride.
So
I mean,
that-
basically
What
James
I
is just
love-
one of the
What in the
ultimate white hoity-toity people, you know.
like the cream of the
It-
crop,
cream
white,
of the crop.
white.
So
Yeah.
this
That is the
pod-
one thing that we, like Max was talking about, like we do, I think all agree that we don't really like James Cameron, but a lot of other people really do. But
Yeah.
we are not an Avatar
never gotten it.
group. We don't get it. It's
Well,
like,
sure,
okay, it's a beautiful
He
movie,
makes
it's okay
good
film, but
movies,
it's not,
like, but he's
yeah,
a
it's not
garbage
the
human
end of the
being. So I don't know.
So those comments were made back in 2010. So I really enjoyed that someone went back to find them, to then rip down James
Yeah.
Cameron,
Yeah.
which he
Well,
deserved.
The thing is like, okay, to be clear, this was talked about with the first movie, but the indigenous voice wasn't really like people didn't listen to indigenous people. They still don't to some degree, but like Twitter wasn't as common. These big names like the people on TikTok who are talking about this now, we didn't know about them. Like truthfully, I didn't know about them. And so the fact that like now these voices are more prominent and more heard, and I think things like Prey, Reservation Dogs, all the success of like native media has allowed this to come to the forefront. Native people have been saying this all along. James Cameron is a garbage human being. But this article resurfaced because they're like, hey, we've been telling you this first movie was like a horrible white supremacist, white savior power fantasy. And like, he's been like this. He's not apologetic about it. He still stands by those statements. He's out there flipping off fans. I don't know if you guys saw that as well. Like, he's not a good dude.
Yeah, this is going to be
fans.
no.
Yeah.
This is
Not
news
fans.
to me, Jared. I've heard you speak on him in this tone, but I've never heard this story behind it.
It's
So
bad.
I'll have to do some more research on it. But I mean, just first glance at some of the quotes, they're aligning. I would say beat for beat with what you're saying, not
Wait, so
necessarily
I got you. Hold on.
paraphrasing, but that's another. Yeah, we'll definitely follow up on that. Isaac, what was our winner of this one?
I wasn't tallying this one, but it's definitely Morbius. I mean, I think Morbius made
Yeah.
all of our lists, so I think it's definitely Morbius.
It wasn't Max's take on Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah, I feel
second
like
place.
those
That
are-
was
yeah.
probably
Yeah.
second or third.
Second place,
It was,
yeah.
But the
it was
fact
up
that
there.
it lives rent free in your guys' head just makes me feel so much more joy. So much more joy.
Yeah.
Well, I already live in a house in your head, so like.
Do you? Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
you look a little sick over there.
Well, I got the COVID in your head, probably from the real estate team that I do
You
have.
sure?
In
Yeah.
your head.
Okay. All right.
COVID probably
Were you
lives in
running up that
Max's
hill
head.
when you
He's
made
had it
that-
like
that
4
bit up?
times. So.
No.
Yeah,
I was going down the hill.
Max cycles through COVID like once a month. So
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Mark was bound to get it eventually.
I'm scheduled. My bi-monthly COVID time is coming.
Max
up here in
doesn't get a
February.
booster for COVID. He just gets COVID again.
Shit, Chris, dude, you guys aren't wrong. I get COVID more than anybody else
He
I
gets
know.
he gets updates. He's next scheduled for COVID 19.5.
Seriously. Oh man, you are not. It's a good joke. It's a great joke, even.
Great joke, even.
But you just stop.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Man.
Infinity Bro Mark, thank you for suffering through a 100+ degree COVID outbreak as you suffered tonight for the
Well,
listeners and the
luckily,
viewers.
I don't have a fever, so like that'd be.
Oh,
really
thank God. Never mind. Sorry.
My
In
fever
that
broke.
case, screw you.
Thanks, buddy.
Love
I'm not your buddy, friend. Robbie,
you're
thank
my
you so
friend,
much
pal.
for a great evening and great conversation.
Thanks for having me. This is one of the things I look forward to every single year, and I love being with you bros.
Isaac, great job tallying today.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to Taylor Ardwa for winning the Infinity Bros baseball cap. Congratulations.
Nice.
Oh,
Jared, thank you for being active in the Twitch stream. I know you were doing some good commenting, so underrated thing that won't get shouted out to the end, so thank you so much for that. And thank you for being on, Jared. Can't hear you, but I'm assuming that's good
Cameron.
things.
Have
I
to.
said
Robot-
absolutely.
Robot
I love you
take
guys.
over.
I love the 6 movies I watched this year, and I love the fans. I do it all for you.
And Zane.
I was here.
Hey!
All right.
He's not wrong.
And we
You did
appreciate
it.
that.
And we appreciate
First
you.
one of the year.
Thank you
Good
for
job.
being here. Thank you, Infinity Bros Universe. Thank you, those that were able to participate on Twitch. We're thankful for you. We love you guys 3000. You guys can check out everything we've talked about in the show notes if you're listening on podcasts or Apple iTunes. If you missed something or want to get more detail on a specific movie or project we spoke on, check out our library. We talked about a lot of things in 2022 that we referenced today, so you don't want to miss it by looking through those episodes. As always, we love you guys 3000. We'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Cut the check.
Cut the
Two
Break
Easter.
cat.
check.
Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube at The Infinity Bros. You can also check out our website at theinfinitybros.com for links, reviews, and sweet merch. Feel free to send us listener feedback via social media or email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.